from Ibrox with Neil McCann, Pat Bonner and Liam McLeod.
The sun piercing through the cold winter skies above Ibrox, where there's barely a cloud. Blue skies as the blue side of Glasgow makes its way out from the right, the green and white to the left. Two derbies in Glasgow today, of course. There's the Queen's Park Partick Thistle match coming up at 3 o'clock, but all eyes on this one as Rangers and Celtic go head-to-head for the second time this season. And you would have to say Rangers are drinking in the last chance saloon, despite the fact we're only halfway through the campaign for these two clubs. 19 games into the 38-game season, Celtic's lead is 9 points, plus that goal difference advantage, which is plus 20 in the champions' favour. As the two sets of players shake hands, and now James Tavernier does so with the match officials. Big afternoon for John Beaton, who's the man in the middle today. The first Old Firm derby with VAR intervention. Willie Collum sitting in the warmth of the VAR HQ elsewhere in the city. Celtic romped home 4-0 when the sides met at the start of September. Abada scored twice. Jota got one in between before Turnbull added a fourth in the second half of the game. The lineups for the two sides: Alan McGregor in goal for Rangers. It's Tavernier, Goldson, Davies and Barisic. Kamara and Lundstrom, with Tillman supporting Kent, Morelos and Sakala. Morelos fit and available for the game. For Celtic, there's a debut for Alistair Johnston, the Canada international, at right back. Hart in goal, Johnston, Carter, Vickers, Starfelt and Taylor, O'Reilly, McGregor, Hatate. Forrest's Old Firm experience is called upon as he goes up there with Kyogo and Daisen Maeda. Just about ready to go, but before we do get underway, it was a cold, misty day on January the 2nd, 1971, when these two met 52 years ago. 66 supporters lost their lives in the Ibrox disaster in 1971, and a minute's silence will be observed ahead of kick-off. They will always be remembered. Clearly there were noises inside the stadium there, and the Rangers supporters booing that. It was a minute's silence for the Ibrox disaster of 52 years ago. Jimmy Johnston gave Celtic the lead on 89 minutes. With just seconds left, Colin Steen equalised for Willie Waddle's team. 80,000 were here that afternoon, and amidst the euphoric scenes engulfing the home sections, a tragedy unfolded. 66 people came to a football match and didn't return home. It is still one of the worst stadium disasters in the world, and one of the worst in British football history. The Celtic players wearing black armbands today. They're also paying tribute. Frank McGarvey, who died at the age of 66 over the new year. 5 major honours at Celtic. He's also well remembered by the St Mirren fans for his role in their Scottish Cup win in '87 and their First Division success a decade earlier in his first spell. As the second Old Firm game of the season gets underway, Celtic going left to right, attacking the Copeland Road end as the initial attack comes from Rangers. It comes from Ryan Kent, who lets fly as they attack the Broomloan, but it's a comfortable take for Joe Hart. But that's a shot on target, Neil McCann, in the opening 20 seconds.
It is, but more importantly, I'm looking at how they're shaping up there. It was a tame effort, out of possession. Just let this build, Liam.
Yeah, Johnston first feeling the ball in a Celtic shirt with the cross. It's cleared, and then there's a late challenge by Matt O'Reilly and John Lundstrom inside the Rangers penalty area. It doesn't take much to light the blue touch paper in this fixture, and that's a late challenge early on in the Rangers midfielder.
Yeah, I think John saw it coming. But Liam, I was just touching out of possession. Ryan Kent and Glenn Kamara just put the brakes on when the ball was rolled out to Johnson, this right back area. They put the brakes on and stayed inside. Kent picked up McGregor and Kamara stayed inside on O'Reilly, that is a clear indication they're going to let Celtic try and force the fullbacks wide and keep them wide, because they know all the threat will come through from the centre.
Rangers in their blue and white as you would expect, Celtic in their green and white hoops as you would expect, as Maida challenging Tillman. Free kicks is John Beaton to Rangers, centre of the pitch, midway inside the Celtic half. And Glenn Kamara's over it right now, back in the side. One of two changes for Celtic from their impressive win at Hibernian on Wednesday, 4-0. Rangers were beating Motherwell 3-0 here. And it's 100% so far for manager Beale in the Rangers technical area. Ange Postecoglou's team looks unstoppable at the moment. What can Rangers conjure up though with this free kick? Barisic and Tavernier are with Kamara. It will be one of the first two names I mentioned there. It's going to be Barisic's left foot clip ball into the box, headed clear by Starfelt and picked up here by Ryan Kent. He's got Kamara to his left. There's an overlap coming from Barisic. Kamara just stabs it infield to Kent, instead attacking the Celtic box, and he's had it pinched off him by James Forrest. One of those back in the side for Celtic. It's a loose ball. He was looking for Maida, but the break falls for Starfelt, who clears. He can only find touch over on the far side. We're in the third minute, goalless. First thoughts of Packie Bonner?
Yeah, Celtic dominating the opening period of this game. It's only a couple of minutes in, of course, and you'd expect that, being the home team in front of their own crowd. Celtic just trying to get a little grip of the game, get the ball down and get a few passes away, which they haven't been able to do so far.
Right, Packie, right away you need to get your Celtic glasses off, big man. It was Rangers dominating the early part of the game.
Sorry, I said dominate. I meant to say that. Apologies to the listeners.
Yeah, here's Barisic down the left-hand side for Rangers. Approaching the third minute mark, swings a very deep ball in, looking for Sakala, and Morelos can get to neither, and it swings behind harmlessly for the goal kick. Yet 9 points is the difference, and Rangers having to come up against a side that's won its last 12 league matches since that surprising defeat to St Mirren in the middle of September. It's their best winning run so far under Ange Postecoglou, as Johnston collects here an impressive World Cup campaign with Canada, who were unfortunate not to make it out of their group. As that's moved by Carter Vickers to Starfelt, who rolls it along the grass out to the left-hand side for Greg Taylor. Taylor with the ball down the far side, cut out by Tavernier, gets it forward towards Morelos. Starfelt's there to clear for Celtic back into the Rangers half. It's been a scrappy opening few minutes of the game, and it's out of play for a Rangers throw-in over on that far side in front of the Sandy Jardine Govan stand. And it will be Tavernier to take level with the edge of the centre circle. Yeah, I'll go back and say this: Rangers is dominating the early proceedings. Celtic are struggling to get the ball down and pass it. It's been breaking down after maybe 2 or 3 passes, which is unusual for them. In fairness, Packie, we were there at Easter Road on Wednesday. It was a similar situation. Hibs started the game very brightly against Celtic and ended up on the receiving end of a doing. Yeah, it just takes Celtic a little bit of when they get in to the way that they want to play. Then the players become comfortable, but that's what the Rangers have got to do. They've got to try to stop Celtic from dominating the game, breaking it up a little bit, which they done in that semi-final. Oh, it's a terrible ball by Morelos. He's given it straight to Dyson Maida's away from Tavernier, away from Goldson. He's in! Goal! And Postecoglou's his arms in the air. Dyson Maida capitalises on Alfredo Morelos' slack ball. He still had loads to do though, as he danced away from Tavernier and Goldson and fires it past Alan McGregor, and the champions hit the front at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Really sharp from Maeda though, and when the ball was that square pass across almost in front of his back four, which is a really bad ball to play so early in the game, but Maeda was onto it like a flash, used his body strength, won the first tackle, and then went round the last defender and tucked it away absolutely brilliantly, and he will be delighted with that. I'll give him huge confidence, and obviously settle Celtic down a little bit, getting that first goal. And I know that Ange mentioned the first goal isn't as important as people make out, but I think it's crucial here at Ibrox. Listen, it was a great finish from Maeda. I actually think James Tavernier looked favourite to go and win it, and he had to win it, because as soon as he doesn't, Goldson's dead because of momentum from Maeda. But Morelos has started this game shocking. I mean, he's got bullied out to the side there with Starfelt getting in front of him, and then Carter Vickers gets in front of him, and then he picks it up there, and he's played a horrible blind pass across the midfield area, which I don't know why he does it, because everybody in their dog knows that Celtic smother that area out of possession in the break, and that is a shocking piece of play from Morelos, and it's really hurt this Rangers side, who had started well, but it is early enough to come back from that, but not the start they would have wanted. Absolute gift from Rangers, and in particular from Alfredo Morelos, but you have to credit Daizen Maeda because he has still
had a lot to do there, didn't he?
Absolutely.
He had so much to do because he had 2 or 3 defenders. He had to win the first tackle and then keep his composure to go round the final piece and then finish it. So he had a lot to do, and he'd done it very, very well.
Here comes Kamara for Rangers down this near side. He's had it pinched off him though by the Celtic skipper Callum McGregor, who's overhit the pass for Hatate. Here is Tillman dancing away this time from Hatate. Maeda gets back, brings him down, but won enough of the ball, says John Beaton, and Matt O'Reilly knocks the ball forward into the Rangers half where Goldson picks it up and rolls it back to Alan McGregor. Last time Celtic scored first and lost a domestic game was when Kilmarnock beat them in September 2018. Now, if you still subscribe to this being a title race, that record has to be shattered this afternoon. As Hatate picks up on that left-hand side, rolling it into the path of Maeda up against Tavernier. He's overhit his cross though, and it's going to bounce away over to the corner flag on this near side, main stand side. Throw in Rangers for Barisic. It is Rangers 0, Celtic 1 on 7 minutes.
But even there, Liam, and Alan McGregor's got a clearance, and both Tillman, but in particular Morelos, are walking back towards the ball, and it's Celtic defenders that get in front of them and create another attack and put Rangers under more pressure. Not good enough start from the front players.
Alistair Johnston has a throw in meantime for Celtic, level with the edge of the D of the Rangers box to O'Reilly, back to Johnston, controlling with the undersole. He's being unchallenged, the Rangers fans don't like it. It's McGregor in the centre of the pitch, rolling it to the left for Taylor, out to the left-hand touchline for Maeda, up against Tavernier, looking for the cross, gets it in, and Alan McGregor, well, he pulled his gloves away from it as that fired across the bows of his goal there, but a little touch from someone in green and white, and that could have been 2-0 inside 8 minutes. And Ange Postecoglou knows it down there. He's lamenting the fact that nobody's got a touch on it.
Yeah, it was a brilliant ball. And again, Maeda started off really quick in this game, and that time he picked it up on his left foot and almost dropped the shoulder past Tavernier and put it across 4 yards out. And I think you're right. I think Alan McGregor, he's either caught unexpectedly or he let that ball go because he knew that the pace was on it to take it away, and Celtic defenders or players just couldn't get in on the end of it. But a really good play again from Maeda.
6 for the season now. Daizen Maeda scored a great goal against Hibs the other night. This was a different kind of goal, but it was equally good. As Starfelt's allowed to chip the ball across his own box for Carter Vickers, despite Morelos being in close attendance. Celtic are playing with a swagger here, as you would expect. 9 points clear as it stands, going 12 clear. Taylor rolls it across halfway for Hatate, out to Maeda, support from O'Reilly over on the far side, passing it back to Taylor, midway inside Rangers territory, short back to McGregor, and then down that left-hand touchline for O'Reilly. They're popping it around here, Celtic, but O'Reilly's pass is poor, and he's put it behind for a Rangers goal kick. Michael Beale's got a big problem in his hands here. Less than 10 in, Celtic bossing it and 1-0 up.
Well, we talked about the press from Rangers. It's not good enough. It's not sharp enough yet.
No, it's disjointed, Pat. If you're going to press from the front, you need the midfield up with you. You need to close all the gaps, and just now they're not doing it.
Maeda moving it back to Taylor. Maeda's work rate is superb. As Hatate moves it left to right of the circle, Johnston was the target of the pass, but he's going to leave it for Forrest. Forrest on this near side. Celtic smell blood here. Down the right-hand touchline, Johnston, first time right foot cross comes in, headed away by Lundstrom. Maeda trying to take it down. He was being challenged by Tavernier, and Rangers managed to get it clear. Morelos goes down just outside the centre circle, no free kick. Celtic play on. And now it's Hatate. Johnston wants it on this near side. The new Celtic number 2, Johnston, turning it back to Hatate, charged down by Sakala, but it's come off him last and out for a throw into Celtic, level with the edge of the circle in the Rangers half on this near side.
Yeah, Celtic are playing their football now. They're starting to knock the ball around off that second touch passing, and Rangers are trying to close them down, but they look a little bit sluggish for me. They'd be better set off for a little bit, and the spaces in midfield, Celtic exploiting them.
It's a great turn by Maeda. He's turned away from Tavernier, who reacts well though. Gets it back to Goldson, who pings the long right foot ball out to this near side.
Yeah,
one in the air by Johnston, flags up on the far side, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1 here in the 11th minute.
That was better though from Rangers, because the split was better. Kent went on to McGregor, and then it's man for man in the middle of the park. If Tillman goes out towards Greg Taylor, for example, there, Lundstrom slides across to Hatate, Kamara goes onto O'Reilly, that leaves Johnson as the out ball, but it's a 70-yard switch, so much better split. But Rangers need to work harder off the ball.
It's a loose one by Celtic this time, that Tillman took an age to gather it, and Celtic pinch it back. Starfelt to the left for Taylor, rolls it forward looking for Kyogo. Good challenge by Davis, and now it's Lundstrom to Kamara to the right for Tillman, who's gone long looking for Sakala. Johnston should be able to deal with that. It's a calm cushion header to Carter Vickers, goes back to Hart, and now plays it short to Johnston, being challenged by Sakala, who slides in.
But that's what's required, Liam. You know what I mean? At least Sakala, it's 2 challenges he's put in, and he's got a lift from this crowd. He's going in, he's prepared to put his foot in, he's not being dangerous, he's just trying to shut down aggressively, and that has been lacking a little bit. I'm looking at Malik Tillman, I think he's been caught again in this fixture. His body language, he's so talented, but out of possession he is such an integral part to play, because he's playing in a midfield three where Celtic just work like pistons.
The team that scores first has only lost this fixture 4 times out of the last 40 meetings. Happened a couple of times last season, Scottish Cup semi. Greg Taylor gives Celtic the lead, Rangers won in extra time, and the other one, Aaron Ramsey, gave Rangers the lead here, only for Rogic and Carter Vickers to turn it into a 2-1 Celtic victory. It's not often the team that goes behind wins this fixture as it goes out of play. Celtic pressuring the Rangers defence into another error over there.
There's a big comparison when you look at Celtic closing down, because they've got quick players up front and really go at the player on the ball, and they join in then 2-3 players. When you look at Rangers, it's done kind of almost half-hearted, and it's not done quick enough, and Celtic play round them.
It is the match winner from last time here. Carter Vickers on the ball, Sakala all over him, and he's had to move it back to Joe Hart, who's midway inside his own half. Carter Vickers wanted a free kick there for the challenge on him.
Yeah, there's nothing in that. Sakala just getting nice and tight.
Here's Hatate down that left-hand side, rolls it infield. First time ball from O'Reilly, out wide left, asking too much of Taylor, but it's enough to force Tavernier to put it out into the stand for a throw into Celtic, about level with the Rangers penalty spot. 13 minutes in, if you're joining us late, Daisen Maeda with the only goal of the game so far, after a really poor square ball across his own half by Alfredo Morelos. Straight to Maeda, who had to beat Tavernier, Goldson and McGregor, but he did so. It was a brilliant goal as Hatate comes forward towards the edge of the box, rolls it there to Callum McGregor, eyes up the effort and he shoots, and it's enough to force Alan McGregor to get down low to put it behind for the corner. There wasn't much power in the effort, but Alan McGregor wasn't sure where that was going.
Well, I think he's in 2 minds here, because he sees Maeda, who's offside, and he's thinking, do I dive for it, do I stay in my feet? And I think he should have been called offside, Pat. I don't know.
I agree with you. I think Kyogo also was in an offside position, and that they were well in on top of him. I think I would be shooting for an offside there if I was the goalkeeper.
They've wasted the corner. Celtic took it short, but it's a loose ball from Matt O'Reilly, and it goes behind for the goal kick to Rangers to be taken by Alan McGregor. The game's settling down just a little bit here, but once the dust is settled, the scoreline reads Rangers 0, Celtic 1. As that comes out to Barisic on this near side. Dreadful ball by Barisic straight to Forrest. I mean, that was as timid as it gets. He almost looked frightened there.
They've been rocked with that goal, Liam.
It is now with McGregor, rolls it into the centre circle for Starfelt, to McGregor, first time to the left for Taylor, down the left-hand touchline. Maeda, he got away from Tavernier, but I think he's put it out for a Rangers throw-in. He's claiming he was fouled there, and that's going to be a throw-in to Rangers, which Tavernier's going to take. Maeda still chuntering away at John Beaton, the referee, looking for a free kick that isn't coming. Throw-in to be taken by Tavernier as we knock on the 15-minute mark. And it goes down the line. Morelos has gone down clutching his face there after the challenge with Carter Vickers. So often the pantomime villain in this fixture in recent years. Morelos, he's back on his feet now, no problem.
And he would do well just to get up to the man's game there, because that's 3 or 4 times now he's just been boshed off the ball. He needs to really be more of a physical presence for Rangers.
Forrest can control on this near side, out for a Rangers throw-in taken by Barisic.
Yeah, you can see also Ange Postecoglou almost gesticulating to his players not to put the ball at risk, and I think it was Taylor that time that hit that big sort of diagonal across the pitch, and it was too high and it didn't allow Forrest maybe to control it, and he's just want to keep passing that ball.
Well, the one player with pass marks so far in blue is Fatin Sakala, and he's just done brilliantly to keep it in play on the far side and find a teammate, and the supporters were appreciative of that as Kamara with a little flick gives it straight to O'Reilly on the reverse near side. Here's O'Reilly infield to Forrest. Forrest looks up too much on the left foot ball. He was looking for Kyogo, and it comes all the way through to Alan McGregor.
Just that moment there, Liam, this is what Rory was talking about before the game. Kent gets it, he bounces it inside, it should be a bounce and then into the grass for him to go and test Alistair Johnson out. He doesn't, he plays it and goes backwards, and it's perfect for Celtic.
Here comes Malik Tillman for Rangers to Kent, now with Morelos. Loads of space for Barisic if he can find him. Barisic on it now, left foot, chips it towards the back post, too high for Sakala, who leapt up to get there. A Celtic player's gone down clutching his face, and that's been given as a free kick to the champions inside their own penalty area, and the Rangers supporters are incensed with the award. I just wonder if Barisic could have taken that a little bit further. He seemed to be in a position where there wasn't a defender near him. He could have potentially taken that further into the Celtic penalty box.
100%. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Actually. Yeah, and also then the cross into the box was kind of a big loopy cross. There was no real pace on it, and he's the one that, and Tavernier on the other side, to get in those forward positions and where they can deliver good quality ball into the box.
And the problem with that big loopy ball, Neil, is Sakala, who's not the tallest, has leapt and tried to stay in the air as much as he could, and he's ended up, I think, catching Greg Taylor.
Yeah, I think it was a flailing arm. I don't think there was any intention in it, and we're too far away to see if it caught him, but I think Taylor's landed awkwardly rather than, there's anything from the challenge. But yeah, I totally agree with you, your point you made about Morelos. He picks the ball up, he's getting nobody on the outside, he must face the man up and just jockey to allow Barisic to get into a better position to cross the ball. It's too easy to roll to the side, and then again he's under pressure when he's crossing it.
It was pretty even between them last season, 2 wins apiece and a draw. One of the Rangers wins came at Hampden in that Scottish Cup semi that denied Celtic shot at a treble, something they will be very much eyeing up this season. Rangers' hopes of that kind of trophy haul appear to be bang on the line here today, as Morelos goes down again in the centre circle, and again John Beaton isn't interested in awarding the free kick to the home team, as Johnston picks up and squares it to Starfelt. It's going to be one of those afternoons for Alfredo Morelos. He was fitness doubt ahead of this one, and hasn't been the same goal-scoring threat for this season as he has been over previous campaigns. James Forrest's down on this near side. O'Reilly finds McGregor now with Forrest to O'Reilly, and he goes back to the edge of his own penalty box for Hart, who plays it short to Starfelt. 18.5 in. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Long ball from Taylor, looking for Kyogo in behind Goldson. Kyogo controls. The Rangers supporters, I think, felt there was either an offside or a handball. The flag's gone up on this near side in the end, and it's a free kick to Rangers as Kyogo takes the ball away from the scene of the free kick.
Yeah, he was offside.
19 minutes in. It looks as though there's a bit of movement on the Celtic bench. Believe it or not, Josip Juranovic is down there getting ready to come on.
John Kennedy was out shouting him back.
Greg Taylor.
Yeah, I watched him come on as well, Greg Taylor, back onto the pitch when he waved on, and I mean, he was moving really, really well and quick, but there's clearly a real problem for him when he landed.
Yeah, well he went off midweek also, and they were probably a little bit worried about him from that perspective, so it must be a recurring injury, I would assume, from that perspective.
Yeah, I think he'll be done here. I mean, it'll be strange to see him come back on. Yeah, he is.
Alexandre Bernabé is on the bench for Celtic. Now, he would be the left back he would think would come on, but Josip Juranovic, in fact, when he first arrived at Celtic, he was playing as a left back because of the form of Tony Ralston on the right hand side of the defence. And it will be Juranovic will come on. He'll go over to that left hand side, and it's his first appearance since the World Cup finals. How many more appearances in a Celtic shirt will he have? He's reportedly got plenty suitors south of the border.
Yeah,
I think I noticed Real Madrid were potentially interested in him as well, and he was brilliant at the World Cup finals, to be fair. Pretty much, I think, up to the last semi-final, wasn't it?
Yeah, finally got caught a little bit. But in saying that, is brilliant experience, and he should be fit enough. He should be sharp enough. Can obviously surprise that he he came back and didn't go straight into the team. But as Neil said previously, there must be somebody, maybe either a bid come in for him, or they're just taking it when they have an opportunity. They're taking it easy with him.
Rangers have it. Tavernier flicking on, looking for Morelos, who in turn tried to find Sakala. 21st minute of the game, 1-0 to Celtic. Celtic forced into that early change, relatively speaking. McGregor touching it forward. He's given it to Tavernier, though, who plays it first time for Morelos. Gets the ball under control. Just to level the edge of the D, but it's another big switch out to the near side. He's found Barisic. I'm not sure if that's what he intended initially. Barisic wins the throw in off Forrest.
Do you know what? I think it was, but it was such a poor choice because Barisic wasn't there. He gets so lucky that Barisic makes the ground up.
Barisic knocking it off O'Reilly. Throw in Rangers again. Barisic takes. Now it's with Lundstrom. He plays it back to Davies, to Tillman. He's touched by the unknown Bayern Munich player up against Kyogo, and Kyogo does brilliantly to pick his pocket. Then Sakala slides in on Juranovic. He's just on. Hatate emerges with the loose ball. He's away from a few, and John Beaton's blown his whistle. He's going to give Celtic the free kick. It looked like Hatate was actually going to get away and potentially get an advantage there, but I think John Beaton had already made his mind up to give the free kick just before Hatate freed himself of the
Sakala again. It's Sakala again, Liam. He's just biting all the time, but I tell you, he would do well to give Morelos a wee shot of what he's on just now, because he's the main guy that is trying his best up there.
Maida taking on Tavernier down the left. He's away from him. Low ball in, and it just goes behind. It's going to be a goal kick. In the end, Matt O'Reilly tried to get there. He was challenged by Goldson on the 6-yard line at the left angle of the 6-yard box, and it goes behind for the goal kick. 22 in, Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, Maeda, every time he gets the ball, he looks as if he's got a beating of Tavernier with that pace. Exactly. Just knocking the ball past him and then running and getting that was a decent ball again into the box. Matt O'Reilly getting there, just couldn't get his foot opened up to get it on target, and just knocked it wide. But yeah, that's an interesting one down that left hand side.
It's the 24th time Celtic have taken the lead in a league game. Of the 23 before today, they've been pegged back 7 times, but emerged with all 3 points on each occasion anyway. Such is the resilience of this team that's only lost 1 of their last 51 league games, and that was that match at St Mirren, which is looking like a massive outlier. The outlier of all outliers. Celtic enjoying their best start to a league season since 2016, and they won everything without losing a single game. As Carter Vickers finds Starfelt, who finds Carter Vickers. 23 in. Celtic in control, 1-0 up. Chip ball from Carter Vickers, looking for Kyogo. Should be easy for Goldson. Heads it away, flicked on by Lundstrom. There's Kent. He's struggling to get into the game, Ryan Kent, and 4 Celtic players combined, but I think it's come off one of them and out for a... In fact, it's come off Kent last. It's going to be a throw into Celtic on this near side.
Yeah, I think Kent, Tillman and Morelos are struggling to get into the game. They just got to be a bit more aggressive and get to the ball a bit quicker, and then from that, then they'll play.
Johnston, he was almost caught there. He has to roll it back to Hart. He had a couple of Rangers players around him. He was under pressure. He dealt with it well in the end, and Juranovic has found Hatate. Across the halfway line goes Hatate. Juranovic moves into that inverted wing-back position there on the inside. As Hatate finds McGregor, and now it's with Carl Starfelt. Starfelt under no real duress finds Johnston, who knocks it forward to Forrest. Offside flag was up. Forrest had nicked in ahead of Barisic there to potentially get away, and Kyogo was up there in support. 24 in, 1-0 Celtic. Barisic got away with that. Offside flag up.
He's fortunately he was offside to get caught on his heels again, and that's happened to a few of the Rangers players in this early stages. 25 minutes into the game, they've been caught on their heels, whereas Celtic are always on the front foot looking to steal things. I just think Celtic are more aggressive. They're punching the ball around. Yeah, they are. The outball should always be this guy for Celtic, and Rangers shouldn't be getting done through the middle. They're just not moving well as a team.
Celtic are razor sharp. As Davis wins it back for Rangers, it's going to be Johnston to pinch it back for the visitors though, and then O'Reilly goes down under the challenge of Lundstrom. The free kick has gone Celtic's way. And Lundstrom right in the face of John Beaton. Celtic trying to take the free kick quickly as is their want, but the ref wasn't finished chatting with Lundstrom. 25 in, 1-0 to Celtic. What an afternoon we have for you after we're done here. Tynecastle, Hearts, Hibs. 3 o'clock kick-off, second Edinburgh derby of the season. The first one was a draw at Easter Road. Aberdeen, Ross County, Kilmarnock, St Mirren, Livingston, Motherwell, St Johnstone, Dundee United, plus the Championship and League 1 and 2 action. There are a spate of there's a couple of games off certainly, and obviously a few League 1 and 2 matches were played on Hogmanay as Johnston comes forward for Celtic, rolls it to the right of the Rangers box here for Forrest. Forrest low ball, cut out by Lundstrom. So important he was there because O'Reilly was in behind him. As a slight challenge from Carter Vickers, and then the foul on Lundstrom by Kyogo, and that is a free kick as Kyogo and Lundstrom shake hands. 26 minutes just about played. Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
But that's the difference again. You know, you have a forward there running back, albeit a foul, but he's running back to put pressure on the player in midfield on the ball. You don't get that too much from the likes of Morelos, and that's a big difference for me.
Lundstrom to Goldson on the right, and then out to the right-hand touchline for Tavernier. And back to Goldson, he scored a double at Celtic Park a couple of seasons ago. Long ball looking for Sakala, giving chase. Starfelt gets there first and heads it back to his goalkeeper though. The natives are restless, you can understand why. Given the fact that their title hopes are on a precipice anyway, but they're watching their team having the ball popped around them largely for large spells of these opening almost 27 minutes.
Liam,
Yeah,
you can have the best game plan in the world.
Oh, and then Hart's played it off Morelos, and it's a bouncing ball down by the byline. It's still in play. Morelos moves it back to Kamara. Now it's Ryan Kent who shoots off the post. Out of a touch. Sakala on the rebound is blocked. What a save by Joe Hart. He's just redeemed himself because it was his error that allowed Rangers' best opportunity of the game. Sakala couldn't find the net, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Yeah. Hart with fingertips off the post.
Yes, and he was very, very lucky, very, very lucky indeed. He didn't have an option to play it out on this right-hand side, and then he got caught in two minds. He's got to at times realise that he's got to play long.
Johnston's just lunged in on Lundstrom on this near side. It's going to be a Rangers free kick level with the 18-yard line, unless John Beaton was happy that he got enough of the ball there, but it was certainly a very forceful challenge.
It looked like he did to me, and I might be proven wrong here, but it looked like he did get a lot of the ball, Johnson, and a little bit of Lundstrom, which is a perfect dream for a defender. But Joe Hart, going back to him, Morelos does do well, but when it eventually gets to Ryan Kent, Kamara first lays Kent in. It's a lovely little stroke finish. Is that Barisic getting
it was Sakala, it was Kent, wasn't it, who had the effort? Barisic's just going head to head with, I think it was
Callum McGregor.
Yeah, Callum McGregor. So John Beaton's got to sort things out now. Now, obviously Willie Collum is the VAR today, so anything iffy that's going on down there will be getting second, third, fourth checks by the VAR. John Beaton has not got eyes in the back of his head, but now any red card incidents can be reviewed and
but he's got to call that
out, but he's diffused the situation as the referee.
Yeah, it's obviously that he got the ball, he got a touch on the ball, because not even a free kick, and it's a throw in, so he's just got to get on with the play.
That was a really strong challenge, and
it's a good challenge, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, throw-in was given as Tavernier plays it off Maida now for a Rangers throw-in just beyond the midway point of the Celtic half. Over on that far side, Govinstan side, Celtic fans, 800 of them inside the ground.
That little mistake from Joe Hart has allowed Rangers to get a little bit of pep.
Here's Kent at the edge of the box, he's on the ball, he's dancing his way towards the byline, his cross is cut out off Johnston. Rangers corner, and much better from Rangers in the last few minutes. 29 in, they trail 1-0.
Just a wee bit of forceful play though, Liam. I mean, there's nothing fancy about it. Bodies in the box, it's putting the ball into the box, asking Celtic to defend, and I have to say Celtic don't look that convincing. Joe Hart's maybe got a little bit of a habit of throwing people a lifeline from the ball at his feet, but that's all it requires, a bit of impetus.
In comes the corner from Tavernier, headed away by Kyogo at the near post, breaks to Kent. Kent drops the shoulder, not once but twice, chops back onto the right, crosses in, headed clear by Starfelt. Kamara picks up the scraps and plays it square to Lundstrom. Celtic with everyone behind the ball there. It's out to Kent on this left-hand side as we tick on to the half-hour mark at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Kent square to Kamara, who's got Morelos waiting out in that right-hand touchline. Steady plays it forward there to Sakala, right-hand side of the box. He's got one to hit, and Tavernier in the middle. Low ball, cut out by Carter Vickers. He's played it back out to Morelos wide on the right. Morelos finds Sakala, looks up, gets the cross in. McGregor kind of sliced at that. Starfelt bails him out. Back into the area it comes. Tavernier goes for it. Hart holds on to it, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
Rangers' best bit of play, obviously they're higher up the pitch, but it all comes from the mistake from Joe Hart. You know, and it allows a team then to get a little bit of confidence to say, well, if we go and close, a bit more aggression and pressure on the ball, you might get something out of it.
Well, it's offering encouragement, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes. It's Carter Vickers in possession. As it stands, Celtic are going 12 points clear after 20 matches. And the goal difference is now up to 22. Celtic, through Daisen Maida, lead 1-0. 31 on the clock. Out with Maida on that left-hand side. He's under pressure and he goes down, fouled by Sakala. Free kick to Celtic. Michael Beale will be delighted it's only 1-0 right now, albeit Alan McGregor's not exactly been making save after save, but we have seen Celtic score goals in groupings. They can get one, they can get 2, 3 and 4 in an instant. Rangers know that too. Really haunting experiences for them at Celtic Park in the last couple of seasons. In the first half of games, 3-0 down at half-time as Barisic knocks it off Johnston, and out it goes for a throw-in to Rangers on this near side.
Rangers have got a little bit of control in the game now. They look a wee bit better under possession, a little bit more confident, and another half yard out of possession though, just to be a wee bit sparky in their play. The Celtic are starting to drop off into a shape, and as I said, they don't look that convincing just now. This fixture can do that to, no matter how much you boss the game or how much control you have in the title race, this fixture can switch in the one opening of play.
Yeah, and here comes Kent, got it from Ben Davis to the left-hand side of the box. Barisic, first time cross from level with the 6-yard line. It's poor, and it swings high and wide on the reverse side of the goal, and it will stay Rangers 0, Celtic 1. He's got much more quality than that, Borna Barisic.
I agree, and that's 2 crosses now he's put in the box. It's almost just thrown his leg at it rather than putting a little bit of movement on the ball. But definitely Rangers having a little bit of, in the last probably 5-6 minutes, much more.
And Juranovic is just giving it straight to Tillman. Kent picks up midway inside the Celtic half. He turns to face the Celtic goal and rolls it to the right hand side for Sakala, level with the penalty spot. Rolls it to Tillman, to the byline. Tillman, low ball, backs cut out. Celtic had numbers back helping in defence. Hatate's long clearance picked up by Goldson. Rangers enjoying their best period in the match. 33 in. Celtic leading 1-0 as Goldson plays it with the right foot down the right hand touchline, and it goes off a Celtic boot now for a Rangers throw. Tavernier to take about level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box. Bowls it to Lundstrom. Little back heel out wide right touchline for Tavernier again. He goes back to Goldson. It's Connor Goldson chipping it forward. It's a poor ball though. He's asking too much of Lundstrom. It bounces off Lundstrom's hip and breaks the way of Juranovic. His clearance isn't great. Morelos then gives it straight back to Juranovic. He finds Hatate, and now O'Reilly, and now Hatate, and looking to test the pace of James Tavernier is Daisen Maida again down the far side. I think that's gone over the line though.
Yeah,
it has. Thrown for Rangers over on the far side. Rangers 0, Celtic 1 in the 34th minute of the game. Thing is, you could be having a really good spell against the Celtic team, but they can pick you off in the blink of an eye.
Exactly. I mean, they can just transition a play because their players are so quickly. They can turn a defensive motion just into an attacking one, but Rangers certainly have got the bit between their teeth here.
Yeah, Tavernier down the touchline looking for Sakala with the pass, cut out by a sliding Juranovic.
I don't think he started well, Liam. Juranovic, since he's come on, he's been slack in possession.
Corner, Rangers corner.
I agree with that about Juranovic. He's come on, he's obviously rusty, and he hasn't started well. He's been giving the ball away.
He's also over on that other side of the pitch as well, where he can play, but he's a right back, and that's where he played the World Cup. There's Barisic, who played once for Croatia at the World Cup, at left back, prepares to take this Rangers corner as we approach the final 10 minutes of the first half, with Celtic leading by 1-0. Maida's 6th of the season and came early. Barisic swings the corner in. Tillman was there, so was Hart, who beats it behind. for another corner. No, goal kick.
It's come off the back, I think, Tillman's head. It was Joe Hart just and no more got his fist to that one. He was stretching over the top of bodies, but he's able to punch it, and he punched it onto Tillman's head, and it goes for a goal kick.
Starfelt for Celtic playing it out from the back. Starfelt finds Johnston. Johnston moves it to Forrest. Barisic is now out of position. Johnston's on the pitch still on the right hand side. Forrest looking for him. He has flicked it with the outside of the boot, but it goes over the line for a throw in to Rangers, which Barisic takes quickly.
Just there, Liam, again, Kamara needs to be a half a yard up there. He gets a half a yard up, he's able to bite on Johnson and not get rolled, because the press from the front that time was good. Starfelt doesn't look great in possession, playing out from the back.
There's Rio Hatate picking up a loose ball in the midfield. Moving out to the left-hand side of the pitch, he's got Maida as an option on the touchline. Maida has it now level with the 18, rolls it back to Hatate, looks up at the Rangers box, moving infield, decides to pass it back. Cushion ball there for Carter Vickers, who plays it to the left of the centre circle for Starfelt. Short ball to McGregor, back to Carter Vickers. Did well to get it under control and release Johnston down the right under pressure from Kent. Johnston with the outside of the boot finds Forrest. Level with the Rangers 18. Here's Hatate. Square to McGregor. Back out wide right for Johnston. Johnston's low ball into the penalty box, finds Forrest, he's got it under control, plays it across, it's taken a deflection up into the air, and Alan McGregor climbs up and holds on to it with both gloves on the 6-yard line, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1 on 36 and a half.
Yeah, good patient play from Celtic around the edge of the box, and work it really well. Forrest obviously coming in off this right hand side and find himself in a great position into the box.
A great little feed from Johnson.
Lovely pick out.
Ben Davies in possession, back to Kamara on the edge of his own penalty area. Davies has it again, chips it forward, he's given it straight to Callum McGregor, but it bounces off the Celtic skipper and out for a Rangers throw-in on this near side. It's bowled back to Davis, long with the left foot up towards halfway.
That's a push there.
Starfelt and Sakala, the ref's happy with it though. It's Hatate, good footwork away from Lundstrom. Plays it to the right for O'Reilly, attacking the box to the right hand side. It's Forrest across, fresh here from Kyogo, breaks to Maida. Hatate's efforts blocked by Lundstrom. Now it's picked up by Sakala. And he can't find Morelos with the pass, and he goes to Carter Vickers.
I have to say, I mean, it might be a poor pass, but Morelos' show has been shocking today. I don't think he's got any confidence that he can go and take the ball in against these two centre-backs.
He looks like he'd rather be anywhere but Ibrox.
I agree, Liam. He just doesn't look at it. I think, I'm not sure how fit Cholak is, but he must be a better option in terms of his game and his application levels, because he's not showing any just now, and Rangers really need it because they're under the pump a little bit from Celtic in the last 4-5 minutes or so.
And I've got to take you back to that chance that Kyogo miskicked right in the middle of the box.
It was like Postecoglou a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
Oh, you would expect him to get on the end of that. It's just laid into his path, and he's obviously swiped at it and missed it completely. It was a big chance for Celtic.
It's final 7 minutes of the first half at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Guys in Maida with the only goal of the game. Rangers have been enjoying their best spell in it just for the last 10 minutes or so, but just signs that Celtic are beginning to feel their way back into the possession. 5 minutes in it was when Maida scored. As Forrest comes down the near side touchline, Barisic slides in and puts it out for a throw-in level with the Rangers penalty spot on the main stand side.
It's almost if Rangers have sort of kind of almost fallen out of the game again, and their passing from back to midfield has been really, really poor. And you're right about maybe front players not holding it up, but the passing's been poor too, and Celtic then just picking up the second ball.
It's another Celtic throw down this right hand side. Alistair Johnston, the big man from Vancouver, on his debut, plays it short to O'Reilly, holding off Kamara. He's done brilliantly, spun him right hand side of the box, gets the cross in, headed away by Tavernier. Only as far as McGregor, who rolls it back to Starfelt inside the centre circle. Right-footed low ball to Juranovic, down the touchline for Maida.
Much better Tavernier. From Tavernier.
Yeah, he stuck to him that time, but still Maida in there just with the ball. Back up the line for Juranovic. Infield for Starfelt, he turns away from Ryan Kent. Then out to the far side, it's a difficult ball for Juranovic to control, and it was out for a Rangers throw-in. Heading towards the final 5 minutes of the first half with Celtic leading 1-0.
Yeah, is that just because he's right-footed, playing over on the left? If he takes that onto his left foot and he just slides a nice simple ball down the line.
Hatate forward to Forrest, Celtic looking for what could be potentially a killer blow before the break, but O'Reilly's giving it straight to Kamara, who's giving it straight to Carter Vickers. This Rangers performance has been error-strewn.
I tell you, they picked the ball up and turned it over in some nice areas as well, but just done nothing. I would say there's probably 4 or 5 players out there not showing that they've got any confidence in their own game.
O'Reilly out wide right for Forrest. Forrest level the edge of the D of the Rangers box, cuts back the way, uses the outside of the boot as he loves to do, finds Hatate, and now it's Juranovic left hand side of the D, reverses it to Maida, first time cross, goes over the crossbar, and that will be a goal kick to Rangers, and it will stay 1-0 to Celtic. We've got 4.5 minutes left of the regulation 45.
He gets into great positions, Maida, but sometimes his final ball lets him down. On that occasion there, he tried to play it first time, and he had 2 or 3 players inside the box that he could have picked out, and he hits it off the side of his foot, inside of his foot, and away over the crossbar.
Long ball from McGregor, who's off the head of Tillman. Now it's with Sakala, who finds Tillman holding off Maida. There's a couple of Celtic players around him. Maida biting away at his ankles. Now rolls it to the right hand side for Sakala, moving towards the edge of the penalty area. The right angle of it, moves it back to Tillman, controls with the undersole, crosses too high for Morelos, but it's been put behind for the corner by Alistair Johnston, who wasn't sure what was going on behind him. Stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1, 41 on the clock, and James Tavernier coming out to this near side to take the resultant corner.
It was a really good cross there, and Johnson does ever so well as a fullback, tucking in, protecting his right centre back.
Closing stages of the first half here in the second Old Firm game of the season. Celtic leading it by a goal to 0. Tavernier with the in-swinger with the right boot, and it comes, it's headed over the bar by Morelos, 7 yards out, dead centre as well, but he's headed it well over Joe Hart's crossbar, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
What a chance. I mean, brilliant delivery from Tavernier. He didn't have to do an awful lot to find space in the box. Morelos, he was 6 yards out or so. He's up, he's got plenty to look at, just doesn't get anything on the header. It's troubling Joe Hart.
Here comes Celtic. How often have they managed to land a blow before the half-time interval as Hatate comes forward, challenged by Tillman. Hatate finds Maida. Hatate back to Juranovic, decides to go for goal, and he lashes it high over the crossbar, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1 on 42.
Well, Celtic build that right from the goal kick after Morelos headed that one over the crossbar very quickly, get a ball down, they build it all the way up, and Rangers are so far off them, and they work the ball almost to the edge of the Rangers penalty box, and only for Tillman got in at the last minute to put a tackle into Hatate. Hatate was free to pick a shot or pick a pass to Maeda.
I did say though, Packy, if Rangers are going to press aggressively, that little area in front of the back four needs to be patrolled. Both Kamara and Lundstrom were done with Hatate just sitting in behind. One of them just needs to pencil up and pick him up.
Tillman won it back, but his pass couldn't find Kent. It's pinched back by Callum McGregor. He finds Juranovic on the far side, back to McGregor, who just gets rid of it. Left-footed high ball forward. Kyogo can't control. Breaks Kamara's way. Finds Barisic wide on this left-hand side. The final 2 minutes of the 45. Here's Barisic. Along the grass to Kamara. Squares it to Lundstrom, who finds Tavernier. Celtic 2 walls of green and white in front of Rangers as it's picked up on the right hand side by Kent. Along the 18-yard line he goes, trying to disguise the ball forward for Sakala. It's cut out by Carter Vickers. He's been ransacked. Morelos at the edge of the box shoots wide of the right hand post, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1 as Morelos slaps his hands in frustration as we approach 44 minutes with the scoreline Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
That's another half chance for me, that. Kent's disguised pass was cut out by Carter Vickers, but he reacted well, stole it back, and Morelos got a good see of the goal here, I think. I mean, he's 19 yards out, and it's just no conviction to try and just put some power behind it. It's really poor, but I tell you, I'm watching Ange Postecoglou, he's head in his hands.
He's really annoyed. He's
the
really
use of the
annoyed.
ball from these Celtic players, Packy, is very uncharacteristically
I think he won't be
poor.
happy with Celtic's almost performance at times, because they've given the ball away when really, you know, I haven't seen them giving them away so often.
They've been as guilty as Rangers have been, haven't they, in many ways, in that respect. Tillman's pass cut out though. Here's Forrest who finds O'Reilly. Midway inside his own half. Fourth official's Don Robertson. We're going to find out what the stoppage time will be shortly. Again, Celtic lose at the midfield, and now it's moved by Morelos out wide left for Barisic. Arms up in the middle. Barisic crosses, flicked away, and it's Juranovic who gets the final touch onto it. Tavernier will pick up the scraps wide on the right hand side of the Celtic box. Sets himself, crosses in, too high for Sakala. Comes off Starfelt. McGregor heads clear. Barisic picks it up, this time on this near side. Square ball to Kamara, out wide left for Kent. Barisic goes in the overlap here. Kent decides to pass it back infield to Kamara. 2 minutes of stoppage time. Barisic with the low ball back. Tillman fresh air this time, and he's looking up to the heavens for answers. That's not where he's going to find them as Celtic get it away, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1 in the first of 2 minutes of injury time at the end of the first half here.
They've had chances, Rangers. They can't complain that they've not had chances. They might not be 100% ones, but they've been good enough.
Chip ball by Tillman, headed away by Carter Vickers, only as far as Morelos. He's up against Tati, he emerges with the ball though, and then he moves it out low out to Tavernier on the right. Morelos has come alive here. Tavernier with a very deep cross ball. Sakala can't get anything onto it, but it's put behind for the corner by Hitati, and Rangers have a corner in first half stoppage time here in a game they trail in, a game they can ill afford to lose.
And I go back to Rangers' best spells. It's when Celtic give the ball away. You know, Tati give the ball away. That allows Rangers to get a wee bit domination of the ball, and they've put now pressure on them in the last couple of minutes.
Big moment coming in here. Tavernier's corner. Morelos' header is wide. Another huge headed opportunity for Morelos. This time he's beating the Ibrox turf in frustration, and it stays Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Alfredo Morelos, well, that's a better chance than the first one.
Yeah, well, that's a 100% chance. I mean, that is such a poor miss at the back post. It's trademark Morelos going towards the back post. Brilliant ball again from Tavernier. The keeper's blocked because he can't move. Morelos just has to get that on target, and he doesn't yet again.
They've actually made more chances than Celtic have in the match, but it is Celtic who lead in the last knock-ins of the first half here on Sportsound.
I mean, it's been such a scrappy game in terms of the chances it's presented themselves to respective teams at times, and probably more Rangers than Celtic. Celtic have fashioned a couple of good ones, but Rangers have been fortunate, but they've just not capitalised.
Barisic has it. John Beaton sounds the half-time whistle, and it is advantage Celtic. The second Old Firm game of the season. There's still another 2 of these to go in the Premiership this campaign. There's still another 18 games to play in this campaign for both teams, but the current scoreline, you would imagine, even though the trophies and medals aren't dished out today, would be enough to ensure that Celtic are champions this campaign. Daizen Maeda in 5 minutes. It's a woeful pass by Alfredo Morelos, who's spurned at least 2, possibly 3 opportunities to make amends for it. A square ball went straight to Maeda, who managed to beat Tavernier and Goldson before shooting past Alan McGregor to give Celtic the dream start here at their city rivals as he fired past the Rangers number 1. And it looked as Celtic dominated for the next 20 odd minutes, as though it was going to be a long afternoon for the home supporters, who have been frustrated throughout at the errors, some of them unforced, from the Rangers players, most notably that one from Morelos, who's missed 2 headed opportunities. He had a shot at goal as well, which went wide. But Kyogo also, like at Pittodrie 2 weeks ago, slashed at fresh air. Any purchase on the ball, he's probably making it 2-0 to the champions, who haven't had too many other opportunities. They've had long spells of control in the game, but Michael Beale will be delighted. His team's still very much in this. A draw is probably not enough for Rangers today. They need to find the wherewithal to win this game. Celtic potentially standing on the cusp of the title again, even though we're just halfway through the campaign. Half-time at Ibrox, Rangers 0, Celtic 1.
Rangers versus Celtic. The Old Firm Derby, live on Sportsound.
On BBC iPlayer.
This is not a game, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. The world's now open for business. I'm sending you to the magnificent Caribbean island of Antigua.
Oh my gosh!
One of you will be gone before your postcards get back.
The Apprentice.
There's no VAR in here. I make the final decision.
Starts Thursday on BBC iPlayer.
Well, look, I think there are a few players on that pitch today Alan Sugar would certainly dismiss out of the boardroom very, very quickly in their first half performance. We'll get stuck into that in a few minutes' time. Tom English, you are part of our commentary team at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Celtic 1. Dyson Maeda on 5 minutes there. You spoke before the game, Tom, about the very fast starts from Celtic, the amount of first half goals they've scored. Rangers sluggish at the start, and they were punished.
Yeah, and we've seen this time and time again in these Old Firm games. You know, that's 10 goals they've scored in the first half of games against big games against Rangers, and it was a beauty. And Morelos plays this blind pass, and it's kamikaze stuff. It's a ridiculous pass. He doesn't know where the ball is going, and it's picked up Maeda. Maeda's finish is just brilliant. I mean, it goes past Tavernier, and as soon as he's past Tavernier, Goldson he's got no chance. Goes past him, sticks it away in the corner. McGregor does his best, gets an arm on it, but the shot is too powerful, and it's 1-0, 5 minutes in. Celtic have a dream start, and Rangers are reeling, and I think they were reeling for the next 20 minutes after that. Celtic were very composed. They were quite slick. They weren't creating a huge amount of chances, but they dominated the game. And it was the Joe Hart incident with Morelos and Kent's shot save tipped onto the post. That was a kind of a turning point in the game, not in the scoreline, but certainly in the balance of play, because Rangers have had the chances since then. 2 excellent chances for Morelos, both free headers from corners, concerning for Postecoglou. Celtic have got very sloppy, Kenny. They've got very, they have the lead, but they don't have much control in this game. Their passing has been as bad at times as Rangers' passing has been. It's a bit of a struggle, and as the boys were saying, Postecoglou's down here in front of us, and he has been gesticulating wildly at some of the things these players have been doing.
Yeah, Leanne, you actually said just at the exact same time in this studio, as Pat said in commentary, that he will be very frustrated, Ange Postecoglou, with the level of performance. We'll get to that in just a minute, but Tom picked up there on a couple of chances from Morelos, the man that gave the ball away that led to that Celtic opener. He has been sloppy this afternoon. He doesn't look fit. You know, Neil McCann was very, very critical of him at times. You know, at one point, you know, Neil was talking about his performance, and he was saying that it was just an absolute disgrace. You're just really, really poor. He's a man that's been a talisman for Rangers for so many seasons. He sets the tone of that game, giving the ball away. He gets a couple of chances to get the home side back in it, and he's just not up to speed, is he?
No, I think that's it. I think when you start a game as poorly in terms of the pass that's the giveaway for the goal, I think the least the fans expect is a response, and I don't think they got that. I think he's come into the game more in the last 10 minutes or so. He said the 2 headers from the corner, he said the shot just outside the box, so his influence is starting to show a bit more. And if you're to compare Morelos right now to Kyogo, who's very quiet, we spoke at the start of the show whether Ange Postecoglou getting into a dressing room before the game. Yeah, I think he'll be first in at half time today, because he's a manager that speaks about performance wise, and if the score was 0-0 right now, I don't think we would be highlighting the frailties of Rangers as much as the frailties within the Celtic performance, because I think they've been equally as poor. I think right across the pitch, the quality, yes, they've had to make the change, Celtic, with Taylor coming on. Juranovic I don't think has been anywhere near it. Starfelt in possession, Paki mentioned he's playing in the left hand side, but I think he's been very poor. The turnovers in the middle of the pitch, not good enough. Maeda is the one that's been the real threat. I think he had the burners on right away. Neil spoke about how wingers would start games, and right away he was looking to put Tavernier in his heels, which he did. Other than that, I probably couldn't pick a Celtic player just now that's performed anywhere near the levels. And I think Rangers, to have had the worst start that you could have done and go behind within 5 minutes, have probably steadied the ship and actually finished the half the better side, I would say. Looking at the stats, Celtic have had 1 shot on goal, Rangers have had 3. They've had more entries in the final third, they've had more corners, they've had more shots at goal. I think Michael Beale will be quite pleased with how his players have responded in such a pressure cooker of a situation where, yes, right now Rangers are 12 points behind in a title. It's not a title race, it's gone. But I just think overall the quality of the game has been very poor from both sides.
What do we put that down to, Rory Lloyd? Is it nerves, the size of the occasion here today? Because Leanne said both sides have been sloppy.
They have. It's the poorest I've seen Celtic in possession, under no pressure whatsoever. Rangers shape has been good, their effort, their commitment, their work rate has been good. It's the quality that's let them down. They've been really, really poor, as of Celtic. What you put that down to, is it nerves, is it the occasion, is it the crowd? I'm not quite sure. But it has been a poor spectacle from a sheerly football point of view. You know, we touch on Morelos, and he will get stick for the goal, and quite rightly so. However, questions have got to be asked of John Lundstrom. I said to you 5 minutes before kick-off, if Rangers make the same mistakes in their own half today as they did against Motherwell in the first half on Wednesday, where they weren't punished, they will get punished today, and that's exactly what happened. Lundstrom gives the ball away, breaks to Morelos on the halfway line, blind pass. I think questions will be asked to James Tavernier's commitment as well on that tackle on Maeda. The ball doesn't go to Maeda. Maeda wins the ball and takes the ball, takes responsibility. Whether Tavernier's worried he might get the red card if he pulls him back, I'm not quite sure, but I think he can do more. But, you know, both teams have been negligent in possession. I think we might see Aaron Moy come on at half time. You know, Postecoglou's been that frustrated with the quality, but you know, on the balance of play and the balance of chances, it should be level. Morelos has had chances. Obviously, you've got Kyogo's miss-hit as well, which isn't like him, across the face of goal. He completely miskicks the ball, and you've got the goal that Celtic scored as well, and there was another one that flashed across the face of goal. From Rangers' perspective, the best and worst of Joe Hart. It's ridiculous to say, but he's not a ball-playing goalkeeper.
Pat Bonner was
it was a great save.
It was a great save, Pat. We've spoken about this many times about, you know, the necessity for goalkeepers in the modern game to be able to take the ball at the back, knock it about, but sometimes it's actually very uncomfortable watching that, isn't it? You just feel really, really uneasy.
It's a risk you take, and in that particular situation that happened, Joe didn't have the option to play right, and suddenly then he hesitated, and that's where he should go long. He should just play it long and clear his lines. Instead he tries and delays, and then he tries I don't know what he tried to do, and it was blocked, and that then just adds pressure on him. You know, he's playing here at Ibrox. The fans are behind the goal, the Rangers fans, his own fans over on the left hand side, but he don't influence the situation. So all of that, then he just heaps pressure onto his own team, and that's just, and he's got all that experience, Joe, and we've seen him making those mistakes before, but in the main he'll continue to pass the ball out because that's the way the manager wants, and that's the only reason. It's not the only reason, but that's the reason why he's in the team, because the manager wants him to play that way. And saying that, he made up with a brilliant save. It was a brilliant save, and he is a shot stopper. There is no question about that. But you're right. Listen, in a game like this, you've called the percentages.
But Kent has made his job easier. Kent goes for a placement, tries to cushion it into the corner, and he allows Hart an opportunity to make that save.
I think that's a bit harsh, Tom. That's right in the corner. I think if seen that again,
he's got to hit it with more power, Rory.
Yeah, he's got to hit it with more power, but possibly. But it's not one you put your laces through. I think he's tried to do the right thing. I think it's a fantastic save, Tom.
It's a good save, but I think the effort has to be more emphatic. It has to be more emphatic. You know, he's placed it along the ground. Okay, it's in the corner. It's a very good save, but. You know, I think if he gets that ball off the ground, if he gets it higher, there's no way Hart is saving that.
I understand what you're saying, Tom. I think he's given Hart the opportunity to make the save, whereas I think maybe other players would have been more ruthless, but that probably just sums up Ryan Kent.
It does. And like he's had pockets of the game where he's been influential, and he's played okay, Kent. But that is a moment where he has to score. Morelos, one of the two, he has to. We're talking about a team who are 9 points behind in the league. That's three really good chances, and they haven't taken any of them.
Well, Neil, we also spoke before the game about application, attitude, aggression. You said midway through that half, Celtic are the more aggressive of these two sides. Why is that? Where does that come from?
Well, that's personal application. The manager can have the best game plan in the world, but if the players are not prepared to go and put their foot to the metal, then they're going to get dominated with this Celtic side. I think everybody said it that I was away for a comfort break and back again, and when I came back it was more on the flavour of it was the turnovers from both sides have been pretty big for the quality of players on show, and had Celtic not been so wasteful, I think Rangers might have been in a worse position. In saying that, I think Mick Beale's message in there would say, listen guys, we should be ahead in this game. We've had chances, we have fashioned some, we've been given some, but we have actually done enough in this first half actually on chances to be ahead in the game. You need to be more ruthless, as Tom's saying about the shot. I think it was a decent effort, it just lacked that little bit of power to take it past Joe Hart. But Morelos for me is the one who flags up in this game probably at most alarmingly, and he's been bullied start of the match. He's culpable for that horrible pass straight across your midfield area. Rory's right, I think on first view, and they've only had one, that Tavernier probably could have won that ball, but he didn't, and they were punished. But his general demeanour is poor.
He doesn't look fit, Neil, does he?
He doesn't look fit, but he doesn't look, more importantly to me, on it and interested. And I know he can be sulky and sullen, but I think if Cholak's on the pitch and he gets one of those chances out of the chances he's had, I think he would be bagging a goal. But I believe Rangers need more penetration. At times Lundstrom has looked as if he doesn't want to get on it or go beyond. Kamara doesn't want to go beyond. I think they need one player, and that is Scott Arfield, to be on there, because he's the one who will go in behind. They need penetration. And saying that, so do Celtic, because generally we are so used to seeing those players operate in the midfield area and going in behind when the fullbacks are stretched, and they haven't done that either. So both teams will probably be asking for more of that type of play.
Pat, we spoke before the game. Alistair Johnston making his debut this afternoon. How's he performed?
Yeah, I think he's done okay. He's got himself forward at times alongside up, supporting Forrest on this right-hand side. He picked out Forrest with a great pass into the box, and he was unlucky, James Forrest, not to get a shot on target. He's done okay. He's up against Barisic, coming forward more so down this left-hand side, but he has thrown in a couple of very sloppy crosses too, when you would expect him to put in better crosses. So I think he's done okay, and I think he's lent himself to the way the Celtic want. He's not playing as almost an inverted fullback. He's more playing as an orthodox fullback, breaking from wide and from a wider position. That'll come maybe later in his game, but I think he's done probably the right thing today. I think he's done a lot better than Juranovic. When Juranovic went on over on the left hand side, I think he looked very, very rusty indeed, and I'm surprised maybe that they've gone with him, and they have Bernabé on the bench, who is a natural sort of left back, and you can see now that Celtic have got two almost right-footed players over on that left-hand side, and when they get the ball, if you close them down properly and close them down at the right angles, then you have a chance to spook them and maybe get the ball off them, or force them maybe to put the ball. We've seen that on a number of occasions, Celtic putting the ball out of play over on that left-hand side.
What are you expecting then, Neil? Arfield's been mentioned. We saw the impact he had up at Pittodrie. Are you expecting some early changes?
I think we'll get to the 60-minute marks. We know that Celtic will make changes within that period, but I think we'll see Rangers doing the same. I don't see Kemar Roof out warming up. Whether that could be an indication of something might be happening, I think it'd be a big stretch to see him coming on at half-time. But they need that type of... I think they need that type of threat, Kenny. But more in particular, they need a little bit more sharpness in their play and on the front foot, because I think the game is there to be won. I don't think Celtic are playing at their best.
Full commentary to come later in the afternoon from the Edinburgh Derby, and we also have the option of open all mic, some big games across the country this afternoon. Let's get back to second half commentary from Ibrox. Rangers against Celtic with Neil McCann, Pat Bonner and Liam McLeod.
Thanks, Kenny. Celtic have only won 2 of the last 8 meetings between these two at Ibrox, and actually over the last 17 meetings Rangers have had the better of it. 9 victories, Celtic won 6 of them, but they've only lost 1 of the last 5 of the champions, and they are in front in this one. No changes for the looks of things, no further changes for Celtic, no changes for Rangers. Celtic will kick off in the green and white hoop shirts, white shorts, green and white socks, right to left, attacking Broom Lone Road in the second half, and Rangers in the blue shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops, shooting towards the Copeland Road end as that comes all the way back to Alan McGregor, who boots it clear with the right foot. Juranovic came on for Taylor in that first half, so he is at left back. He's decidedly uncomfortable at times since coming on. It's Alan McGregor in goal for Rangers, Tavernier, Goldson, Davies and Barisic, Kamara and Lundstrom, Tillman supporting Sakala, Morelos and Kent. For Celtic, Hart in goal, Johnston, Carter Vickers, Starfield, Juranovic, O'Reilly, McGregor, Hatate, Forrest, Furuhashi and Maida, as it was out of play for a throw-in, and Alistair Johnston over it. Takes it short there to Hatate, back to Johnston, infield for Hatate, and then down that right hand side he plays it forward. No takers for Celtic though. Rangers have it back, Kent to Kamara, who's the legs whipped away from him by Johnston, and that will be a free kick over on that far side as we take into the second minute of the second half. No yellow cards in that opening 47 minutes as it was that was played, as Lundstrom collects and rolls it to the left for Ben Davies. Long ball with the left foot, headed away by Carter Vickers. As Old Firm games go, and we're only just over the halfway mark, it's been a pretty simple one to referee for John Beaton, you would have to say, so far. There was a little melee in the first half, which he sorted out pretty quickly. As the long ball finds Sakala, he holds off Juranovic. Now he's darting at the Celtic box. Sakala, right footed, finds Kent, left-hand side of the area, onto the right foot, shoots and scores! It's a brilliant goal by Ryan Kent, who's been asked question after question after question, but this time he's come up with the biggest of answers. Great ball to him, he picked it up, left-hand side of the box, and he's bent that one into the top right corner, and Joe Hart couldn't get there. It is Rangers 1, Celtic 1. Rangers come to life early in the second half.
What a finish from Ryan Kent. I mean, it's calm, it's composed, but it's so precise into the top corner. But full marks to that man, Fashion Sakala. He's been really positive in the first half in terms of his application, his power. But Juranovic just steals. We speak about him being off the game. He steals 2 yards out of position. The ball goes to Sakala, and he never ever recovered Juranovic. But it's all down to his perseverance, Sakala, his power. Great pass out to Ryan Kent. He's 1v1 with the debutant, Alistair Johnson. Comes inside, and I mean, it's a quite brilliant finish to get Rangers level. Suddenly we've got a game in our hands.
Yeah, I don't know what Juranovic and Starfelt was thinking about, because that ball travels 40 yards from the goalkeeper all the way to Sakala, and he's playing in between the two of them, and he's able to control the ball, hold Juranovic off who's on the wrong side, and then travel with the ball to pick out Kent. So a very, very poor defending down this left-hand side. We did talk about them both being right-footed over this, but they've got to sort that out.
Here's Sakala, who made the goal. He moves forward, he's had it nicked off by Hatate, then Maida, but Lundstrom's on it, and he turns it back to Alan McGregor. Long ball forward, which Alistair Johnston will get there ahead of Kent. He's under pressure though, Kent still chasing. Johnston back facing his own byline there, rolls it low into his own box, and it's cleared by Joe Hart. So one apiece, and Ibrox has come to life as well. The Rangers supporters, who were so often in that first half left figures of frustration, but yeah, Ryan Kent has brought them to their feet with that stunning finish. Well, and that's been the one area of his game that's come under a lot of quizzing over the last while.
I'm watching Juranovic, his head's not on it. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes straight back off, because whether he's got a mind on a move or something, but he's been off, because Sakala's been all over him.
Yeah, kind of playing within himself. Yeah, and he's a class player,
because he is a class operator, and he just doesn't look the same.
There's Tavernier down the right for Rangers, attacking the box, low ball. Sakala takes a touch and shoots over the bar. Michael Beale applauding though. This is a good performance from Rangers. All of a sudden they've come flying out at the start of the second half, and they've got back on level terms, and that could be a massive goal in their season. It was 100 seconds exactly after the restart, and Ryan Kent was lifting that one into the net in the top right corner, and there was nothing Joe Hart could do about that.
No, it was a great finish, beautiful finish. Pace, a curl, no chance for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, well, it's just his third goal in 55 games, but it means the world to the Rangers fans as Sakala slides in on Juranovic down on the near side to put it out for a throw-in. It was celebrated wildly there as well, just the throw-in, but such is the nature of the fixture, as Juranovic pulls it back to Starfelt, who turns it into the centre circle for Carter Vickers. It's now with Johnston, who goes back to Carter Vickers. Forward for Hatate, to McGregor, to Hatate, to Johnston on the right-hand side. Celtic trying to dust themselves down after that, and the din of noise here as well. Forrest plays it in field to O'Reilly. Pass out to the far side, and the slight challenge from Lundstrom.
Yeah, a wee bit of retribution, shall we say, from the first half challenge, but like Johnson, Lundstrom nice and clean wins the ball.
Here is Johnston, who goes back to McGregor. And now with Hatate. I mentioned Easter Road during the week to Packy there. Celtic conceded 22 goals in the whole of last season. That's them conceded 16 this time around. They've been imperious going forward. Few more conceded though than this time last year. And here comes Sakala for Rangers. 6th minute of the second half, trying to get round Juranovic. He's got there. Sakala goes down. Down he goes. Yeah. John Beaton's pointed to the spot. Rangers penalty. Starfelt complains, but John Beaton has given Rangers a penalty. 56 minutes into the second half.
I just wonder whether he got anything on that ball. He's obviously caught him with his trailing leg. I think that's when he went to pull the ball back. But he goes to ground, Starfelt, and from Celtic being in a commanding position. Again, it's down the right-hand side. Sakala picking the ball up, knocking it past Juranovic, too easily getting past him inside the box. Then Starfelt has committed, and he has to get it across.
Again, it's so positive from Sakala, and it's brilliant play. They're having a look at it, no doubt, to check, to see. But it looked pretty definitive from here. Starfelt goes to ground, lovely little chop inside from Sakala. But it's all about the man's application levels and preparing to go at people. We speak about Juranovic, it just doesn't look the same, you know. I think Ange Postecoglou will be having a real thought. But what an opportunity from the captain.
They've been awarded 6 penalties this season of Rangers. James Tavernier's taken them all. He's scored 5, he's failed once. But this, right here, is one of the biggest moments of the Premiership season. Tavernier waits to take then. Right-footed against Hart. He scores! Hart can't get there despite guessing correctly. And Tavernier wheels away in celebration. Rangers from behind against the champions in this title race that looks a hopeless cause unless they win today, have hit the frontier, and Ibrox erupts. It is Rangers 2, Celtic 1. What a turnaround!
You're not saving that one. Joe Hart does correctly guess in the right direction. He dives to his right, but you need to be swinging from the crossbar to keep that out, because that is right into the roof of the net. And I tell you, he must have been feeling the nerves. It's a good opportunity for him. We know he's missed 1 or 2, but that was emphatic. It was considered. It was loads of conviction in it, and I mean, absolutely unstoppable. This game has been flipped right onto its head, and I did believe it, Liam. I thought that this game could be there for Rangers to win, because Celtic are not at it. But what a position they've put themselves in now.
Well, it's flipped so quickly and so easily when you consider the first goal and then the penalty. And Celtic's got a huge challenge now. Can they come back from this? Can they play their game?
Well, I mean, honestly, this is half an hour into this. You did not see this coming, and Morelos has been brought down by McGregor. Free kick to Rangers just inside their own half.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it from a Celtic perspective, and I think it's down to Juranovic not being at it. Definitely down this sort of left-back position. Everything in the first opening 5 minutes of the second half all came down this side, and Juranovic hasn't been able to deal with it.
A game Rangers need to win is a game that they are winning all of a sudden. Tavernier's second Old Firm goal. It's his 9th of the season. It's potentially priceless, because if Rangers, come May, are celebrating here with the Premiership trophy on display, then that moment there, that swing of the boot from James Tavernier as he found the top left corner of the net with that penalty conversion, could be the key moment for them. Long way to go in this, and Celtic will still have a say. You can bet your house on that. As Lundstrom finds Morelos on the near side, touches it away from Maida. Suddenly he's doing everything right, Morelos. Here's Lundstrom, he goes for goal, blocked by Starfelt, and it pings out to Ben Davies. Good start in the second half by Rangers, Neil. Celtic can't get out their own half at the moment.
Yeah, very good, but you've always got to be aware, as it say, the wounded animal, because this side can hit quick. But Rangers need to find some control, but what they've got is the ascendancy, no doubt, and this man on the ball is right up for it.
Sakala has been brought down, but he's found Tillman, and Tillman still has it, faced by Hatate. He's away from him, he's away from Maida, but Maida reacts well, and now it's with Reo Hatate, and eventually the free kick goes Celtic's way. 2-1 no to Rangers, 10 minutes into the second half.
Well, if I was Rangers, I'd keep getting that ball out to Sakala
all the time, just shove it down his throat. Sakala should be coming off there absolutely sick of the sight of that ball.
Here for Celtic is Alistair Johnston over on that far side. And now it's with Starfelt, getting it from Carter Vickers, then gives it back to the US international. Just outside the centre circle, where he squares it back to Starfelt on the near side. And then to Carter Vickers again. Celtic trying to click into gear here. Here's James Forrest. They've got some weaponry on the bench though, and Ange Postecoglou will be calling at that at some point. Might be sooner than he'd intended, the way it's going though right now. As Carter Vickers goes back to Hart. Jota, Abada, Giakoumakis, to name 3 of them, all on the bench. As Comes back to Joe Hart, he clears it first time. It's a long ball with the right foot. His manager didn't like that, he turned away from the pitch of frustration. Comes all the way through to Alan McGregor on his 18-yard line. He clears first time under pressure from Kyogo. And now it's Johnston on that right hand side.
Well, Celtic players have got to show that they have this confidence that they've built up over the years to get on the ball and pass it now when they're under pressure. And Rangers look at better shape actually in the second half when they're closing Celtic down and they're not allowing Celtic to penetrate through the middle too often.
Celtic have it with Forrest, flicks it down that right hand side touchline for Matt O'Reilly. Up against Davis. It's O'Reilly held off by the Rangers defender. Now it's with McGregor. Infield for Hatate. Hatate moving out to the right hand side towards the corner flag now, right in front of the 800 Celtic supporters. Hatate, what a turn that is. He's inside the box, plays it across the face, a goal, and it comes right through past Maida and out for a throw in on the near side. It's come off Alan McGregor, who got the slightest that touches onto it.
It was small, Liam, but it was so important because Maeda was rushing in and it just diverted it, I think, away from his foot. Really good play from Hatate. Tillman gets way too tight, rolled way too easily. It was a fizzed ball across the face of goal.
The ever so slight touch took it away from Maida. Celtic come forward, McGregor to Kyogo, but his little flick forward goes right through to Alan McGregor, who will then pick the ball up. 57.5 in, Rangers 2, Celtic 1. If you happen to miss the first 8 minutes of the second half, and the story has changed quite dramatically, because within 8 minutes of the restart, Rangers have turned a possible defeat into a possible victory, and it's a victory they need, as Callum McGregor picks up on this near side and turns it back to Starfelt. Short ball back across halfway for Callum McGregor. He chips it forward, it goes over the head of Tavernier, chasing it's Maida, trying to at least win a corner, but Goldson holds him off, and it managed to shepherd it behind there for the goal kick. How things can change, how a football match can change, because half an hour into this, Celtic were 1-0 up. Okay, they're not forcing chance after chance, but they had a serious control of this match. Callum McGregor's trying to get his teammates going down there.
Yeah, he is. And you see John Kennedy, he's calling back Abada, and is it Moy, I think, coming back. So there's something afoot here. Ange Postecoglou knows that his side have not performed. It's the worst I think I've seen him this season. And Rangers have got themselves back into this game and maybe back into the title race, but it's not over yet.
Far from it. Juranovic trying to see it behind, but he's under pressure from Sakala. Decided to pass it into his own box for Starfelt. A loose one. He's given it straight to Malik Tillman, who's away from Juranovic. Low ball cut out and behind for a Rangers corner. Again, Celtic shooting themselves in the foot there, and Michael Beale's trying to whip up the Rangers supporters down below us.
Absolutely wrong decision from Starfelt. And then when they won the ball back, Rangers, Juranovic goes into a tackle and he doesn't want it. It's so easy for Tillman to go through him.
Those Celtic changes are coming shortly. He's going to make a double change by the looks of it. Jota and Giakoumakis waiting. They'll be on pretty shortly afterwards, I would have thought. Rangers corner though. Barisic main stand side as they attack the goal to the right, and it comes flicked across the face of goal. Does that come up a Celtic head?
Ben Davies, I'm not sure.
Ben Davies, it is. It's a goal kick.
Yeah, he got right
they're claiming corner.
Post. Yeah, I'm not sure. Was it maybe Starfelt that was tracking him, but it looked like Ben Davies just got a little flick on towards the back post. Unfortunately for Rangers, nobody going round the back area. But here's the changes.
Yeah, Moy for O'Reilly is the first one. First of the second half for Celtic. They took Juranovic on for Taylor in the first. Taylor injured, and Liel Abada will come on for James Forrest. Bang on the hour mark at Ibrox. Rangers 2, Celtic 1. Still that Edinburgh derby to come at 3 o'clock amongst the kickoffs. The later kickoffs just over an hour away. Hearts against Hibs at Tynecastle. Aberdeen, Ross County, Kilmarnock, St Mirren, Livingston, Motherwell, St Johnstone, Dundee United. A couple of games off in the Championship, and the big game between Falkirk and Dunfermline in League One is also postponed because of the weather. As Starfelt picks up, none wrong with the weather here in Glasgow. It's chilly, but it's blue skies above. As Celtic pick up with Maida to Hatate, and they've lost it in the midfield again. Here's Tavernier out to the impressive Fashion Sakala. Good challenging back there by Rio Hatate though.
He's just got to run down the line there. I watched Starfelt as soon as the ball was going to Sakala. He just hit the reverse button. He doesn't want any of it because he's already been done in the box, and he realises he's just got to get back and hope a midfielder works back. That's why Sakala should have gone on the outside, but Hatate, he's so fit, the man. He just gets back and wins possession of the football, and the danger's gone.
Do not underestimate the seismic nature of the next 28.5 minutes plus injury time here at Ibrox. Here is Carter Vickers. Even a draw for Celtic, they'd be pretty happy with, you would have to say. They'd take a 2-2 right now. As Aaron Moy tries to spring Abada down the right-hand side at the corner flag. He's going to get there. He's the pace to do so, and he wins the throw-in off Ben Davies.
Well, he also comes up with big goals in these games, Abada, and Barisic will need to be on his toes, and especially when the ball's on the opposite side. We've seen that happen a few times where he's almost got the wrong body shape.
How they managed to get the cross dug out from there into the Rangers box, flicked away by Goldson, and then Sakala wins it off Juranovic again. Maida covering
not a
back.
bad race, this one.
No, he's done well, Daisen Maida, and he lets it trundle out for a throw into Celtic on the near side.
Yeah, again though, Paki Juranovic losing the 50-50 with Sakala, but fortunately for him, Maeda, who's super fit himself and quick, wins the race to get possession back under control for Celtic.
Ange Postecoglou won't panic just now. His team's been in this position before this season. Every time they've trailed, well, it's not been often. Only St Mirren have managed to hold on for anything. As Johnston rolls it to the right-hand side, there's a chance of Abada. He's inside the penalty area in the left foot, gets it across the face of goal, and Tavernier gets his head onto it and behind for a Celtic corner. The Celtic supporters, 800 of them over on the far side, try and gee their team up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was going for goal that time and rather than the cross, but certainly James Tavernier had to take evasive action and get that ball away for a corner.
Aaron Moy to take, in-swinger with the right boot in the near side. In from Moy, it's a good delivery, it comes off the head of Goldson and over the bar onto the roof of the net for another Celtic corner. Yeah. It's 2-1 to Rangers on 63.
Good header from Goldson. It was a standing jump as well. He never looked favourite. Dangerous ball from the header.
Moy will take again, second chance. First delivery was good, it's not bad either. Comes into the 6-yard area, bobbling around. Starfelt hooks it towards goal, flicked half away, and then Goldson gets his long right leg onto that and he boots it to safety. And it stays 2-1 to Rangers, out for a Celtic throw-in over on the far side, round about halfway. It's bold infield, but John Beaton, I'm assuming he's not happy about where it was taken.
Just wondering, is he stopping something? Is there something that they're checking?
Possibly. It's from that previous corner that was taken. He certainly stopped proceedings right now, the referee.
It's a big call from Willie Coleman House here on VAR. He's waiting on a potential penalty check. You can only imagine it must be.
Yeah, there's no confirmation of it in the screens inside the stadium as yet.
And there was no shout from any of the Celtic players or anything of that nature, so it's taking everybody by surprise inside the stadium here.
Here we go, they're checking a handball.
The ridiculous handball stuff.
Not sure who it's come off. I know back in the studio the guys will have been watching the monitors, maybe get some information, but it's no penalty. Play on after the review. No penalty. Leanne Crichton watching that back in the studio.
Yeah, it was question marks over whether it had come off the hand of Connor Goldson, which to us it looked like it did flick off his hands. His hands were tucked into his body, Liam, but again, in nowadays you could have possibly seen it given if it was conclusive.
And stays 2-1 to Rangers. Thanks, Leanne. It's Ben Davies out to the left-hand side for Barisic down the line for Kamara, and now it's with Lundstrom taking it out to the far side. Gets it back to Kamara, and then Lundstrom is wiped out on the halfway line by Johnston. Yeah. Still no cards being dished out this afternoon by John Beaton.
I don't think he should have turned in, Liam. I know they've got the free kick here, but I think he had a ball over the top. Fashion Sakala just going to run inside Juranovic, and we know that he's been getting the upper hand in that one, but he chopped back inside, and that little battle continues with Johnston and Lundstrom. No yellow card.
Yeah, I think Johnson went to ground initially and got up and then dived in.
Celtic haven't lost a domestic game they were leading since September 2018. It's more than 4 years.
Wow.
Since they surrendered a lead to the point of defeat. That was at Kilmarnock. It happened to them in Europe last season against Betis as that ball forward is moved back out to the left for Barisic. Now down the left-hand side of the Celtic box for Morelos. Looks like a different player from the one we saw in the first half, in particular, as Lundstrom picks up, getting it from Kamara. Moving out to that left-hand side, Barisic level with 18-yard line. Long, high, ball in towards Sakala. Breaks Tavernier's way, right-hand side of the Celtic box. Up against Maida, 66 in. Now it's with Tillman. His pass is cut out by Maida. He was looking for Tavernier.
Juranovic again, just been really sloppy, Pat.
Yeah, just very tentative, isn't he?
Yeah.
He goes and plays, should be playing that ball up to the halfway line. He just flicks his foot at it and it goes out for a throw in halfway between the halfway line and the corner flag.
Rangers are starting to feel themselves into the game, I think, though, because they're popping it around a little bit more than we've seen in this match so far.
It is Rangers in possession with Tillman to get through a ruck of green and white hoops there, but his route forward was blocked. Breaks back to Kamara, out to the touchline for Tavernier now with Lundstrom, and then Kamara to Kent, jinks away from McGregor, and then turns to have a little nibble at Moy as well, and he's done well, but then overcooks it, and Aaron Moy wins it back for Celtic. Now it's Johnston to Moy. Jota and Yakamaka still waiting on the touchline for the nod from their manager. They'll be desperate, they'll be chomping at the bit to get on.
I tell you, since Rangers have gone 2-1, Lundstrom's had a joke. What a pass.
One towards Tillman was right through to Hart, who holds on. 2-1 to Rangers. Final quarter of the game upon us now, 67.5 minutes played. And it is Celtic in possession.
I don't think any of us would think that Juranovic would have such a bad game coming onto this pitch after the World Cup that he had, but he's been really struggling, and I'm not sure if the manager would actually even take him off at this point in time, but certainly it's been a big factor in the second half.
They're struggling to make the ball stick in the final third, are Celtic. It's not been Kyogo's day. He's yet to score against Rangers. Not necessarily a stick his manager wants to see him beaten with. As it comes off Sakala and out for a throw-in on this near side for Celtic. 68 on the clock. He'll surely be making those changes soon, Packy.
Yeah,
they're both waiting.
I think he will, but you know, they've got to get a hold of the ball in those sort of forward areas. Rangers have been pressing them better, I think, in the second half, especially across the midfield, and they haven't been allowed them to dictate the game as much as they did in the first half.
I think Rangers are going on almost like a 4-4-2 with Kent's gone up alongside Morelos, and they're just flattening out that midfield, and they have been better.
There's Aaron Moy down the right hand side of the Rangers box, looks up, low ball in, taken down there by Hatate, breaks the way of Maida to Callum McGregor, his efforts deflected. It's going to come out to this near side. There was an appeal for a handball there.
There was two actually, I think, Liam. There was one and then that one from McGregor, but
he's going to hold it.
Yeah, they're checking for another possible penalty. Leanne.
Yeah, we'll hopefully get a replay of it, Liam. You're right, there was two instances that I thought myself in first viewing, but there's been nothing definitive. The first one we're just seeing now pops up. Connor Goldson's the first one. For me, it's not a penalty. It comes off his left arm, which is tucked in close to the body. The second one, that angle just isn't clear. I think it's Goldson again.
Yeah.
The first one's definitely not a penalty. Whether the second one, I think it's Rory's alongside me as well. I don't know if he can see it any better.
It goes so quickly, Anna. He turns his body. It doesn't look to me like it's a penalty either.
Yeah. It's no penalty, guys. Thank you. Corner to Celtic, in from Aaron Moy, headed away by Goldson, and it will be picked up by Juranovic, but it's a heavy touch, and Kent has found Sakala, and Rangers are trying to spring Celtic on the counter here. Pass it to Sakala, driving down the right hand side, heading towards the final 20. It's a poor touch, one of his poorest touches of the game, and he's had an excellent match, and Celtic have it back, and it's Juranovic to Moy. That's us on 70 minutes, 2-1 to Rangers.
He was just running out of juice there, passing Sakala. He has been good. And when you're running out of fuel, then you've just got to fizz the ball into the box. He's been caught on it there. He's been run down by Celtic, to be honest. But again, Pat and I have been speaking about it, Liam, so often. Juranovic, heavy touch, and then he didn't look as if he wanted to go full throttle into the challenge. A substitute being made here. I wonder if John Lundstrom, he's down getting a little bit of a checking from John Beaton. I don't know if he took an elbow in the ribs or not, but he was struggling for a bit. I think it was maybe, I don't know who it was, Aaron Moy maybe. Yeah, he's coming off.
It's Lundstrom off, Jack on.
Yeah, I think it's a straight swap, obviously, in the midfield position, but that was a quick decision by Michael Beale there.
Yeah, he got a dunt right in the ribs, and he was out towards the far side of the centre circle when he went into a challenge. He didn't look comfortable moving. It's a shame because I think he's come into the game, Liam.
Ryan Jack knows this game inside out now. 4 years on from being the match winner here at Ibrox. Rangers have gone 12 games without a win against Celtic when Ryan Jack popped up with the winning goal here. As Celtic through Hatate giving it away. He's done well to win it back though. Juranovic looking for Maida, gives it straight to Tavernier. Now it's with Morelos, he's got it through the legs of the defender. Sakala gets goal side of Juranovic. Sakala chops back onto the left foot. His efforts blocked by Carter Vickers. That looked like a brilliant opening for Rangers there. Celtic get away with another one. Once more Josip Juranovic is involved. Here is Abada sliding in. Jack is just on, and it's a good first touch from him as he puts it out for a throw-in over on the far side. 71.5 on the clock. Rangers 2, Celtic 1.
Absolutely everything's happened down this right-hand side for Rangers. Celtic's left-hand side. I know he's not possibly a left back as such, but he's just not at it, unfortunately, and I hate criticising him too much because he's been a really good player from Celtic, but this is huge for Celtic today.
Hatate caught by Tillman on the near side. Free kick coming here for Celtic. It's almost about level with the edge of the D of the Rangers box on this main stand side as they attack the goal to the left. 72 minutes played. Edinburgh Derby to come at 3 o'clock, as well as all the other matches at that time here on Sportsound, BBC Radio Scotland. Across the frequencies, on digital, online, bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland, and on BBC Sounds. Aaron Moy over the free kick, just a couple of yards from the near side touchline, right-footed, floats it into the box. It just comes skipping off the head of Carter Vickers and goes behind for the goal kick. Carter Vickers got the winning goal here on Celtic's last visit in the spring when they won 2-1. They themselves came from behind that day. As I said earlier, just 4 times in the last 40-odd meetings between these two as the team that scored first lost. Celtic led through Maida on 5 minutes, but there was early drama in the second half as well as Rangers hit the front. And Ryan Kent, and then a Tavernier penalty in the first 8 minutes of the second half as a Celtic push by Starfelt is penalised.
Celtic are rattled, but I think they're...
Yeah, but they're not doing the basics right.
No, that's what I mean, and they just look a little bit disjointed. We spoke about how cohesive Celtic are and it all functions very, very smoothly, but they look out of sorts. They're making poor decisions. Starfelt there, just go and win your header, your favourite, you're a centre back, you're coming onto it, and instead of pushing the man, and it just gives Rangers an opportunity to load the edge of the box and put a good ball in. But this is where Rangers need to control their emotions in the game. It's high powered, they've got themselves in front. Celtic are loose, just control their emotions but still play with a threat. They can't let Celtic come onto them.
Free kick Rangers, everyone bad. Alan McGregor's in the Celtic half here. It's about level at the edge of the centre circle. Tavernier looks up at the Celtic box though, floats the right footed ball to the left hand side of the area. Goldson chesting it to Kent, and now it's with Kamara. Kamara stepping away from his man Abada and takes him on again, rolls it out to Kent. Kent moving forward with menace here. It's away from Moy, but he's overcooked it again, and straight to Abada. It's back with Aaron Moy, who plays it off Kamara's hand there, I think, and that's a free kick to Celtic. Rangers 2, Celtic 1, 74 on the clock.
Ryan Kent's unlucky there. I know the fans are groaning. He chopped and then he chopped again, but had he just been allowed to keep his feet there, he had a lovely little slide pass for Kamara.
Celtic in possession down that right hand side. It's Alistair Johnston, breaks the way of Abada. He's in a right central area, rolls it short to Moy, out to the right hand touchline. The cross ball's very deep, Maida's there, and it's flicked behind to the corner by Tavernier. He's taken a blow to the face in doing so.
Given a free kick, is he?
I think he has.
Yeah, he just took one in the head. It was brave from Tavernier because he knows Maeda's behind him. He wins the header, and just as he goes to turn round with his momentum, Maeda's already trying to header the ball back across goal. It's a sore one for him.
It was a strong one. It was a good header.
I tell you, Celtic need to get Abada on the ball.
They do.
He's the one that I think can cause the problems for Rangers, but he's been starved of it actually since he's come on.
Yeah, his nose is bleeding apparently, James Tavernier. We can't see that from here quite clearly, sitting up in the...
That was a brave header.
In the main stand.
Really brave, because Maeda was in a great position just to get on the end of that, and he's almost turned his face into him, and very brave. And that's what you need to do in these games, unfortunately. And yeah.
Well, we spoke a lot about Mick Beale before the game, and Tom was saying, he's a great talker, and this is almost like you've got to walk the walk now. But his team have certainly come out and turned the game in Rangers' favour. And so whatever he said at half time must have been good. He's earning his corn here and now. Him and his assistants are out. He's got 3 or 4 players over beside him. He's barking out instruction. He's just about to make another substitution there and shuffle the pack. But this is where he'll really earn his stripes.
It's Scott Wright
in an Old Firm game.
Yeah, it's Scott Wright that's coming on. James Tavernier still being worked on. Jota and Giakoumakis will be on for the final, 14 minutes as it is now. As I mentioned, Edinburgh Derby to come. Hearts with Zander Clark in goal. They've got Michael Smith playing on the right by the looks of things, with the centre 3 of Rowells, Sibbick and Cochrane, Devlin, Halliday, Mackay, Chinelli and Snodgrass, with Shanklin skippering the side, of course. For Hibs, Marshall and goal, Hanlon, Newell in this, but Stevenson, McCurdy gets a start, Ewan Fish gets a start, and Campbell and Rocky Bushiri making up the team as Rio Hatate comes off.
Yeah, Celtic almost going now.
Yeah, Maeda off as well.
Maeda as well, Giakoumakis and Jota on.
Yep.
Yeah, Celtic got into a 4. You could call a 4-1-1 situation with Kyogo going to play off Giakoumakis through the middle. Sometimes 4-2-2, and he becomes a threat coming from a little bit deeper also, Kyogo.
You can see the setup there. Moyes just going to operate beside Callum McGregor, and the 2 of the wide boys and Jota and Abada, and Kyogo just probably given a free role just to come from deep, which will be a real responsibility now for Ryan Jack in particular.
Yeah, Tavernier's going to be okay to continue by the looks of things. He's holding that tissue up to his nose, so trying to stem the flow. And having to stem the flow at the top of the Premiership as well. 9 points plus those 20 goals. They're in a position here, they've got themselves into a position where they can eat into that lead and chop it down to 6 points. And that looks very different. Very different, with 2 of these games still to go this season. As it comes back to Joe Hart. Celtic still have time though. Scott Wright waiting, hands and hips to come on. They're going to have to wait till the next stoppage in play. Carter Vickers playing it short to Moy. Back to Carter Vickers to Moy. 2-1 to Rangers, 78 on the clock.
See the difference there already, Liam. I'm just watching Kyogo just coming from short, but he's always wanting to spin long, and you just see it deepening the whole back four of Rangers, and that's where they want to get Moy and in particular Callum McGregor just in between the lines. But there's a real different threat now to look at for Rangers.
A draw's fine for Celtic, isn't it, Packy, at this point?
Oh yeah, listen, a draw, do take a draw all day now at this stage of the game. With about 15 minutes to go. There will be a little bit of extra time with VAR and the substitutions, as we know.
Here's Juranovic bounding down the left-hand side, leaves it for Jota, works it back to Juranovic. He's offside. Free kick will be Rangers down really deep inside their own half.
Really good line, Liam, because it'd be easy for Connor Goldson there, because Giakoumakis has taken him towards the 6-yard box, but he's still presence of mind just to hold his line, be brave, step out and catch Juranovic offside.
Morelos will come off to be replaced by Wright. I'll tell you what, Alfredo Morelos will be feeling a heck of a lot better about himself right now. It was his error that led to the Celtic goal early on. Much better second half performance from the Colombian, who actually spurned 2 chances in a rotten first half for him. But he's coming off to an ovation from the home supporters, Neil, who were so frustrated with him in that first half.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to be too critical, but let's just say I think it was an easy upgrade to get more out of him in the second half. He's performed. I think Sakala's been the main man, and in saying that, that's why he remains his position and goes through the middle.
We're in the 80th minute of the match. Rangers 2, Celtic 1. Celtic staring at just a second Premiership defeat of the season.
Yeah, I'm just looking at every ball that's played down into that Celtic's left back position. Juranovic almost ducks out of it. He never goes for a header. He doesn't go, and that's not good enough. I'm sorry. When you're playing against Rangers, no matter if you're going to get a move or whatever it is, you've got to do your basic work, and it's not good enough. And it just shows you how important Greg Taylor is to Celtic, and the performance that young man has been put in.
Long ball for Giakoumakis is asking too much of him though. There's Alistair Johnston that comes right through to Alan McGregor. Big 10 minutes coming up now, plus injury time.
I like Giakoumakis, Packy. I mean, he's prepared to run in behind centre-backs, but equally he can get on it and hold it up as well. Good striker.
Long ball forward, controlled brilliantly by Wright, who's just on. Now it's with Tavernier, now it's Jack.
Do you know what? That's a good ball from Jack. I know it's not the one that Scott Wright might have wanted, but he needs to gamble on that there, because it's not the time to get caught on a counter-attack. And that little ball in behind, keep turning Celtic, keep them facing their own goal. That's the play just now, just to take the heat out of the game.
Well, if we know anything about Celtic, is that they can do late drama like nobody else. 16 times they've scored in the final 15 minutes of matches this season. Starfelt turns away from Tillman and finds Callum McGregor. And nobody does late drama like Celtic does it, albeit Rangers had a taste of that themselves in Aberdeen a week and a half ago. That comes back the way to Joe Hart. 81.5 on the clock now. Rangers are going to make more changes.
James Sands getting a shout. I wonder if maybe Glenn Kamara's on his race.
Callum McGregor looking for Jota in behind Tavernier, just couldn't control it. You'll be doing well to keep it in play. He's prevented the goal kick, putting it out for the corner on this near side. That's about as much as he could do with that. And there will be a throw-in to Rangers deep inside their own half. All the other team news from the other matches, we'll get confirmation of those lineups from Tynecastle as well. Once we are done here, we'll get post-match reaction, and then it will be all eyes on the Edinburgh Derby and the matches at Pittodrie, Rugby Park, Hammond, Vale and McDermott, as well as those taking place. The ones that are still on, down in the second, third and fourth tiers. And that bold ball by Tavernier is flicked on by Wright. Chasing it is Sakala. Carter Vickers underneath it. His pass has gone straight to Scott Wright, though. Right now driving forward. He runs into a cul-de-sac. Carter Vickers emerges with the ball, having given it away, and he passes it back to Joe Hart. 82.5 on the clock. Rangers 2, Celtic 1. Here is Callum McGregor, trying to get himself free of Tillman. Rolls it out to Johnston on the touchline. Back to Carter Vickers.
Yeah, they've handled it really well, Rangers, and across that midfield, even the front three of Kent on one side. They've got their distances right, and they've closed down. Their timing of their closing down has been much better, and forcing Celtic almost to play backwards when the ball goes wide.
Aaron Moy on the near side. Short ball to the left for Jota. Back to Starfelt inside his own half. Celtic are barely testing Alan McGregor. That is a concern for Ange Postecoglou. But Kyogo works the 1-2 with Giacomakis, but it breaks out to Glenn Kamara, who wins it back, now finds Kent, and suddenly Rangers are 3-on-2 against Celtic here. Tillman bounded to the left for Kent, who releases him. Malik Tillman takes the touch, shoots, blocked brilliantly there by Cameron Carter-Vickers. That's potentially goal saving from the America international, and it stays Rangers 2, Celtic 1. How important will that prove to be?
What a challenge from Vickers. I thought Tillman was just going to chop and drag it back, because he's got that in the locker, but it just looks as if he took his sting out the run a little bit. But still, what a brilliant block from the captain.
It's a brilliant block on his compatriot, Malik Tillman, German born but US international. James Sands will replace him. That was his last act. Malik Tillman, who was criticised pretty heavily for his display in the derby at Celtic Park at the start of September. But he's been much better today. I think Fashion Sakala's been Rangers' star man, though, has he?
Oh, without question.
Yeah, definitely.
Without question. I mean, he's impacted the game massively. He's effectively had 2 assists. But it's the application levels, and I go back to the first half as well, Liam, when Rangers were not at the pump. He was the one that was making tackles. He was the one that was pressurising the Celtic defenders. And I think he's been the standout.
Celtic manager down there, hands in pockets. He's tutting away to himself down there. It's been an afternoon of frustration so far, 84.5 in, and it came, Packy, after the dream start.
Yeah, but they were sloppy. They were sloppy any time that Celtic came into the game in the first half. It was Celtic giving the ball away in crucial areas. And then, of course, the big change, I think, has been Greg Taylor going off and Juranovic coming on. And that showed up in the first half. It definitely showed up in the second half. And that Rangers exploited it, as if they can almost knew that they could exploit it. And Sakala, definitely, he was the main man.
Barisic with the free kick to the back end of the box. Goldson can't get anything onto it. Aaron Moy sweeps it clear. High ball up towards halfway. Comes off the head of Tavernier. McGregor heads it forward. Breaks to Ben Davies. He heads it towards the Celtic box. Cleared by Starfelt. Proper head tennis going on out there. Starfelt takes a touch with the foot this time, and eventually bounces off Jack and back to Joe Hart. But in the final 5 here at Ibrox, Rangers 2, Celtic 1. And Rangers on the cusp of their biggest result of the season, beyond question. We'd probably put their victory over PSV Eindhoven up there as well, but as far as the league campaign is concerned, this is massive for them, as that wayward ball to Jota goes behind for a throw-in to Rangers on this near side. Right now, Michael Beale, he won't be relaxing down there because he knows what this Celtic team is capable of. But you know, looking at this game from a neutral's point of view, Rangers look extremely comfortable right now.
Yeah, the momentum's gone from Celtic. You know, at this stage, they're not done. The fluency's gone. That was an easy pass, I thought, for.
Starfelt gets it back to Joe Hart, just about. Sakala was chasing it down. Hart clears long with the left boot, breaks into the midfield for Sands, who's just on, and he's found Kamara, and Kent's away to his left if he can find him, and he does. Kent now charging in the box, returns it to Kamara, takes a heavy touch, and he has to prevent the goal kick by sliding and putting it out for the throw-in on the far side to Celtic. 2-1 to Rangers. The clock continues to tick down and tick away from the champions.
Really good pass from James Sands into Kamara. When it bounced to Kent, I thought Kent might have just used Kamara as a decoy, Pat, and came and come inside onto his right foot like he did for his goal, but he elected to pass it. I don't think it was the right decision.
No, I totally agree with that, because he with the confidence that should be going through his veins at the moment after that goal, he should have been taken in and trying to almost execute the same way, and he didn't. It was the wrong pass.
And sometimes here Rangers supporters head for the hills, even if it's a game that they're only a goal ahead, and nobody's leaving this one early today. Here is Jota for Celtic, skips away from Tavernier, attacking the Rangers box. Jota's reverse ball for Moy, is he onside? Moy on the turn, couldn't find a teammate. There's still a chance here, Giakoumakis, Kyogo! Goal! Kyogo Furuhashi does it yet again for the champions, as he lashes it high into the roof of the net. And that is one of the biggest goals of the season, if not the biggest goal of the season so far. A draw right now suits the champions, and Kyogo might have just steered them towards the most priceless of points here at Ibrox, which has been totally silenced. But for the 800 Celtic fans on the far side, Kyogo batters home his 16th goal of the season, and it is Rangers 2, Celtic 2.
Well, it's the first time the Celtic have really been in the box in the second half, apart from the one that Hatate put across the goal. But Jota, and I was saying that Jota hasn't really touched the ball since he's come on, but he picked it up this time, was allowed to come on the inside, and then picked out Aaron Moy in the box. From that, then Rangers were all over the place. Centre half drawn out of position, and there was Kyogo, sharp as a attack inside the box to finish.
It was always going to be, I mean, a bad if they could get him on the ball, but Kyogo just going for that little withdrawn position allows him just to free himself up, and what an emphatic finish it was.
It's a brilliant goal by Kyogo, and Celtic find an equaliser somehow. That's why they're champions. They just have the wherewithal. From the tightest of spots, from the deepest of holes, Celtic have picked up potentially a point here, and it's another late goal for them. They just don't know when they are beaten. Rangers looking still for the victory, right on the right hand side of the box, headed clear only as far as Sands takes a touch, looking for an option in blue. Nobody's making a move, and he's been pickpocketed, and it's won back by Abada through towards Giakoumakis. Can he stay onside? Sliding in Goldson, and he puts it out for a throw-in on the near side. Flag's gone up anyway. Within the 90th minute, Rangers 2, Celtic 2. That goal there, that Kyogo Furuhashi goal there, might just have won Celtic the title.
Well, I mean, it's a long way, a long way to go. But James Sands wouldn't have helped matters there. I thought he had 2 bites at just getting out his feet and having a smash at goal. He's only, 19-20 yards outside, but he had no intention whatsoever and was almost paying a heavy price, because Goldson had to use all of his pace and power to get back on Giakoumakis there.
Yeah, Sands, the crowd were actually willing him to have a shot at goal.
Everybody was.
Everybody was.
I mean, apart from that little section and yourself, Packy, but I think it was waiting to be hit. I think a central midfielder with any sort of offensive blood in his system would have taken that on.
7 minutes of injury time have been added. The same 7 minutes that Rangers were afforded at Pittodrie, as they scored twice in second half injury time to come from behind to beat Aberdeen. They only need the one this time.
Of course,
Celtic looking to hold on to the draw, which would suit them fine. Tavernier has it on this near side and wins another throw-in off Juranovic. 7 minutes then. Big 7 minutes in the 22-23 season. This Jack gives it away. Celtic have it, cleared by Starfelt down this near side, and Goldson throws Giakoumakis to the ground, but the decision, I think, has gone the other way. It's a Rangers free kick. James Tavernier's going to take it. It's a yard or two away from this near side touchline. John Beaton spots that they've pulled it forward by a few yards.
Yeah, it makes all the difference also because of that ability to play that ball into the box. Celtic can push out a couple of yards further and defend outside, well outside their box.
Tavernier takes right-footed, bending the ball into the Celtic penalty area. It's headed away by Starfelt, only as far as Jack, who finds Sakala. Chops again back onto the left with the drop of the shoulder,
brilliant.
and he's going to get it back from right. It's Sakala, but he lost his bearings and wildly slices it wide of the right-hand post, and it stays Rangers 2, Celtic 2.
I'll tell you, he's been their star man. You know, he's got that ability in around the edge of the box also. I thought he did everything right until the final execution when he's almost fallen backwards. But he's put a lot into the game, you've got to say.
So now with Callum McGregor charging up to halfway. Celtic will fancy winning this now. There's enough time for them to do it, and Rangers are the team that will have to press as it goes behind for a goal kick. You just wouldn't be surprised if Celtic pop up with a winner here.
Yeah, well, they've done it so often. That's the point. But I think they'll be delighted to get away with this game with a draw. It keeps the 9 points intact, and they've had a difficult second half here, you've got to say.
This is on paper, this is their most difficult game of the season. If they can emerge from here unscathed, then they are still sitting atop the league with a very comfortable margin right now. 9 points plus that 20 goal difference swing that Rangers would need to change, as well as pick up the requisite points. But that doesn't look likely with the Celtic team. Okay, they've not been at their best today, but in their most difficult fixture on paper, they are coming here and taking at least a point. They might want more because Jota's found Moy, left-hand side of the Rangers box, back to Juranovic. Finds Jota, shuffles on to the right, passes it short to Callum McGregor, unchallenged at the moment. McGregor under pressure, loses it, won back by Sands, who was fouled by McGregor, and the yellow card eventually comes out. It was looking as though we might get through this Old Firm derby without a single caution, which would be very unlike this fixture. But John Beaton forced to yellow card the Celtic captain.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing there because Callum McGregor got caught, two people around about him, and he couldn't get his pass away, and they were on the counter-attack, Rangers.
We've played 3 of the 7 minutes. Here comes Tavernier on the right-hand side, gets the cross ball in, Carter Vickers heads it away. It's going to be collected here by Juranovic. He prevents the corner. He eventually dinks the ball out of defence and out for a Rangers throw-in on the near side. It's 2 apiece. We've played half the injury time. It's been a topsy-turvy derby at Ibrox. Both teams have had their opportunity to sit in the lead as the long crossfield ball finds Tavernier, pulls it behind Ryan Jack, though, to the frustration of the home fans as Jota emerges with it, passes it with the outside of the boot, looking for Giakoumakis. The yellow card's out again, though. Is that James Sands who's been booked there?
Yeah,
or was it Jack?
I don't know. I think both were having a bite. He did let it go a little bit, John Beaton, and then when the pass was played, he decided to bring it back. And it just takes the sting out of the game for Celtic.
Still 3 minutes left. Celtic in possession with Carter Vickers and rolling it short there to Starfelt inside his own half. Looks up at the Rangers half. Decides to turn it back to Carter Vickers under pressure from right. Now Carter Vickers goes long out to that far side. Comes back the way towards Johnston. Bounces off. It looked like it came off Johnston, but we're on the opposite side of the pitch. It will go out for a throw-in to Celtic, level with the edge of the centre circle. It is 2-all. Michael Beale down there pointing forward. They're trying to his players through these final couple of minutes. Ange Postecoglou is calm as ever. Long ball, Giakoumakis picks up right-hand side of the box. And he's on the turn. He's flicked it back the way, it's behind McGregor, it's picked up by Wright, who moves it forward to Sakala. Sakala turns away from his man, Kyogo had a little nip at him, but it's picked up here by Sakala. Knocks it forward there to Wright. John Beaton might revisit Kyogo in just a moment, as the flag eventually goes up on this near side, and Celtic have got the decision. Celtic free kick, much to the annoyance of the home fans here.
Well, power and strength.
Just power and strength from Carter Vickers. I mean, Scott Wright was fighting his corner, but he's probably given away at least 5 kilos there and a lot of muscle. I mean, Carter Vickers celebrated like they'd scored a goal or stopped one. He knows how important that was. It's the dying embers of the match.
But the ball was given away with Giakoumakis way up here, and just hold on to the ball. You're inside the box, you don't have to do anything. And then he tries a silly pass, takes about 4 players out.
Joe Hart takes the free kick as we go into the final minute of the 7 that were added on at the end. Long ball goes out of play for a Rangers throw-in. It's level with their own 18-yard line though. Tavernier bowls it back to Ben Davies. Davis then out to the left-hand side for Barisic. Chip ball forward looking for Kent, and it's gone out of play eventually for a Rangers ball. Well, this is the last opportunity for Rangers as it's played back there to Kamara. And then to Davis. Is there a winner for either of these teams? There's not been much in it. Long ball forward. Jota gets his head onto it though for Celtic. Looking for Moy. Jack will get there ahead of Giakoumakis. Celtic have had 2 shots on target. They've both gone in. That is a ratio that will suit the manager for sure. They punish you when they get the chance as it goes out of play for a throw to Celtic, and that is it all over. It's a draw, and it's a result which suits Celtic a lot more than it does Rangers, that's for sure. A much better result for the defending champions, who led early through Maida. They were on top for large swathes in the first half though. Kent, Morelos twice, and Sakala missed opportunities for Rangers. 1-0 it was at the break. Michael Beale's team showed great resolve at the start of the second half to fight back to the point that they led this game and looked like they were on course for a win, when Ryan Kent finished superbly well in the opening few minutes of the second half before a Tavernier penalty made it 2-1. But it was the late show from Celtic again. How often have they done that? How often have they sent their supporters into raptures late on in games with late goals? Well, they were at it again. 88 minutes were on the clock. It's a number synonymous with Celtic Football Club. And Kyogo Furuhashi was there to lash it home. After a melee in the box, it popped out beautifully for the Japanese international, the top scorer, who lashed home his 16th goal of another profitable season in Scottish football. And it could be one of the biggest goals of this season as well, because it maintains Celtic's 9-point lead at the top of the Premiership, plus that 20-goal difference, as the Celtic players embrace down below us, although there wasn't much embracing going on between Callum McGregor and Borna Barisic, who are still having a go at each other. Joe Hart trying to split them up. It looks relatively peaceful, the conversation at the moment, but this is a result that doesn't really do Rangers any favours, and they will be left to rue that late Kyogo goal, because of the gap being brought back to 6. They may well have had a realistic shout at toppling Celtic by the end of the season. But right now it still looks like the tallest of orders. Celtic have come to Ibrox and taken a point, and they'll be pretty happy with that. It finished Rangers 2, Celtic 2.